And we are back for the second day and the final round of the Staffordshire Congress Open. And what a day for games that we have today. We've got two Welshies, Jonathan Blackburn, number 2 in Wales, and then well 10 champion Ivan Rapplin-Jones, who is playing. I think Ivan is, I think he's white in this game. I might be wrong. I might be looking at the wrong screen actually right now. No, Ivan's black. Sorry, my bad. I'm looking at the wrong screen. Against Jonathan, who's playing white for his final round. Very, very exciting. Very much looking forward to seeing how this game pans out. So we'll be spending a lot of time focusing on this game. I haven't actually had a look through the games today. So we'll have a quick gander through those now, but before we get started, I've minimized everything, haven't I? Before we get started, if you don't know who I am, my name's Luke Zimmer, also known as Lightbringer, and I am one of the Welsh chess chatters, recently joining Jonathan and the team. I am not a master rated player by any means. I've been playing chess for quite a short amount of time compared to these guys. A nice total of, we'll be coming up to 3 years this year. Hey, 3 years. But I am a very, very big fan of the game. Play a lot of events, play a lot of tournaments, get involved in a lot of the marketing for the Welsh Chess Union, and it is an absolute pleasure to be able to host this on the very nice, fun, famous Welsh Chess Chat channel. So whilst my commentary might not be up to scratch compared to someone like Jonathan, like Alex, like anyone who's any good like that, I'll do my very best to try and at least keep you guys entertained to some extent and try and talk through a lot of what's going on. I'm able to understand the basics, and thank goodness engines exist, because some of these brilliant moves I have no idea what's going on. We had a very, very tense few games yesterday, and it's just really exciting to be able to go and take some very good classical chess with some very high-rated players. Jonathan beating the top seed yesterday in a very, very fun game, playing down without a queen, but playing with 2 rooks and an extra piece for compensation. It was a very, very tense game where Jonathan, I said unfortunately, played very well, because that meant when I spoke to him afterwards, I had to say really nice words to him. But it was an absolute pleasure to watch. So we're going to have a quick look through the games that happened. If you weren't here yesterday, we'll have a very quick look through what I'm talking about with Jonathan's game here, where after a few moves, we had a situation here where this knight on a4 for white was looking very precarious, and Jonathan found a great idea just to trap it in here. And as you can see, the computer really enjoyed that. And then after a bit, the computer didn't enjoy this move as much. It did think there was something else better, but it is one of the top engine moves. The computer actually prefers the rook takes, which Jonathan actually said to me in a phone call afterwards he was looking at. But we didn't get that. We got, and after all the trades, Jonathan chose to play with, down a rook, but up a pawn and a piece. Not down a rook, down a queen. So two rooks versus a queen, and boy, what a game it was. And he just bulldozed into this position. This brilliant move right here. The entire idea is that once this piece is taken, that you have to take it. We have pawn pushing down here, which is exactly what happened. And this bishop just bulldozes down this dark diagonal here. So absolute stellar stuff here. The game did not last much longer after that, and just a very, very nice discovery over here. The king is running out of places to hide. Can't come down over to h1 because of the threat of h2 mate. Very, very fun stuff. I don't even know where you really go in this situation. There's not many places to go. But yeah, very, very good gameplay from Jonathan. We also had, I have to go back to this game here, this amazing, amazing, lovely game. I was so excited all the way through, where we were in a position like this, and this knight was ready to jump in at any moment. And eventually we jump in, and we get this amazing setup where there is a forced mate in 4. 5, is it? Mate 5. And we get the correct sequence of the correct first move, but then afterwards all it needs is a rook take and then a rook check. That's all it needs, and unfortunately we do not get that rook check. We get the queen check, which means unfortunately after this there's no more checks that can be given. We have to give it the queen, and we try and save it over here, but the queen comes in with a check, and then it's just a very, very classic back rank checkmate. So very, very unfortunate for Chris, but fair play to Harry for clinching through and surviving that game. Ivan, our Welsh candidate master who's playing in this tournament, unfortunately didn't have the most enjoyable game. Playing into a semi-slab, we then got this really, really interesting setup where everything was kind of normal for a while, and then we got this amazing bishop sacrifice idea with the idea to then slide over. Rook d1 would have been absolutely crushing. Ivan did spot it, and then things started kind of falling apart after this long castles, which just puts the king under so much pressure. The queen's directly staring at his position. Ivan obviously wanted to get his king safe, but I think at the cost of some safety. Hello, we got some Pokemon emojis in chat. I respect it. But this game unfortunately just wrapped up quite quickly, where afterwards White just managed to stack the 2 rooks on the A file here. And after a bit, we just had to lose everything. And we were 2 rooks against a bishop. It just wasn't happening. Yeah, we've got a lot of pawns, but there's just no way they're going to survive. So yeah, very nice try to Ivan. If we go over to some of the games that we've had today, I think Jonathan had quite an interesting game until it was a complete even game for 61 moves until this move right here, which allowed Jonathan to play h5, put extra pressure on this pawn here. That pawn is not going to survive much, and then after this move, there is just nothing that could be done. This check has come in. It's going to be very, very difficult for black to survive. And, you know, 2 pawns against the rook is just, yeah, it's absolutely huge. So very well done for Jonathan. Very, very good game from it's Chunhei Wong, who's been playing a stellar tournament so far. If we have a look at Ivan played against Carmel Barwick, who we saw play a very, very interesting variation into the Sicilian yesterday. It was very, very interesting to watch with a move like c4 into the Sicilian. Don't often see it, so e4, e5, knight f3, and then we got c4. It was very, very weird, but it was this game here. I haven't actually looked at it yet, so we'll have a look through together at some of the key moves. Looks like quite a comfortable game here. And then e1 here just coming up. E2 here, king e2 to defend the pawn is absolutely stellar. Again, the computer doesn't like this move so much, but I don't think we need to worry too much about that. And it was just an absolute stellar game. I'm not even sure exactly what the pivotal moment was in this game. I have a few trades here off from the trader, and it came over here where we were then able to scoop up this pawn. Very nicely done. Very, very, very nicely done. And then, yeah, a bit of opportunity for what black to come back in, but doesn't find the right move. And we're able to then see. Oh goodness, so much has happened here. There's like the eval bar doesn't know what to make of it, but it's around here by the looks of things. But yeah, we get h6, and then yeah, this is just unfortunate to watch. Yeah, tried very hard, but at this point, after the fork, after the knight's gone, it's just, yeah, just gave it up. But very, very good game, very good game. Well done, Ivan, for finding all the right moves in all the right places, let's say. The top seed, Jacob Connor Boswell of the game, also won his game as black. And well, let's see what we had here. We had we had kind of like a Rosalima or a Moscow. Very nice, very classic Sicilian. Actually playing very similarly to how I play, because I would normally don't play with a g6 and the bishop g7. I tend to play with a6, but still very nice to see. Seen a lot of Sicilian actually this tournament. It's actually been very interesting, but some very, very good chess being played. See, the computer really wants to see e5 being played here, just fighting for the center, which is very nice, but I still think this knight move is just as good. Yeah, so we got a very, very good set of games here. Again, this game was quite even until, what was the move? The fatal move. It was h4 with the idea that knight f6 afterwards. Knight f6, knight e2, and then the pawns are going to start falling off the board by the looks of things. But we came down here, and we still wouldn't pick up the pawn. And, okay, it just looks like pieces are starting to fly off the board. It looks like it just became very, very hard for white to keep hold of all the pawns. The pawns started flying off the board. Very, very nicely done. We have about 5 minutes until the game starts getting transmitted via chess.com. So, yes, very excited to see what happens. If we have a quick look at the results board for now, we can see in first place, Jonathan is currently at 100% win rate. Very interesting to see how he does against Ivan. Ivan having not a solid tournament, taking a bye in the first round on the Friday, but then losing against Chunhei Wong is going to be quite difficult. But then 2 very strong wins against 2 1900 rated players, so decent games. So yes, very excited to see how he does in this. Right, I'm going to do something. This is going to be really narcissistic, but I have to do it. I just loved it. Like, this is the weirdest thing on the planet, is clicking this button, and I can see myself. And I'm glad the low latency is working. So if you have anything to shout at me whilst you're doing it, now is the time, because I am going to miss so many things, because I have the brain of a sieve. I might miss moves happening. I might forget about things. I might double talk about stuff. I might not understand the concept of some moves. So please feel free to correct me whatever you think is best. And also, we got here, got Prime. Oh, interesting. Sorry, just looking at all the Twitch stuff that's going on. It's everywhere. So yeah, if we go to round 5, board 1, Jonathan Blackburn as white against Ivan Rathbone-Jones. Now this is very interesting, especially for Jonathan and Ivan, as they're both playing in the closed section of the Welsh Championship, which ultimately will help decide who gets in the Olympiad team as one, and also who's going to be playing in the British Championship, which normally Jonathan says doesn't really apply, but it is an automatic qualification. And I guarantee there's probably going to be some people in the closed section. Oh, sorry, hit. Oh, this microphone I don't think is actually in use, is it? If I tap it. It's not. I can do that. Boom. A lot of people who are playing in the closed section will likely be watching these games, ready to fight some of these opponents that they're coming up against. Got a very exciting tournament coming up over Easter weekend. 4 days. 2 games on the Friday, 2 games on the Saturday, 1 game on the Sunday, 2 games on the Monday. So 4 days, 7 games of chess, classical chess. I'll be playing, if you're interested. I'll be playing in the Open because I didn't qualify for the closed because I haven't got a rating yet. But I've just noticed on FIDE that the game results have been uploaded, which should mean I've got enough games now to get a rating. I got a decent success rate by the looks of things. I think. I can't remember. Let me check. I can't actually remember. Where's the FIDE website? This is just me, like, feeding my narcissism right now, because I would love my rating to come through soon. But I'm not 100% sure what day the calculation comes through. I think it'll probably come through on the... I'm saying words, but I don't really know what I'm saying. So I got 4 games as white, and only 1 of them to win. Ouch. And 3 losses, and I got 3 games as black, and 100% win rate is black. So maybe I should just stop playing white. Maybe I should just take a bye every game where I'm white, or, like pretend I've got a headache or something. What I'm going to do real quick, and I'm going to only do this because I'm here, and if I was doing a serious stream, I wouldn't. But it's really not a bad idea to have a little view count widget, just to see how things are looking. It's very nice, very good, very nice. I'll put that over here. Now, if you are new and you've never come and watched the Welsh Chess Chat before, I highly recommend following and sticking around, because we do actually stream quite regularly, especially with the Welsh Chess Tournament Championship coming up. Sorry, I was just relocating the microphone so it was closer to me. We are quite entertaining, I think. I think we're quite entertaining, and again, that might just be pure narcissism. But, I mean, me and Jonathan have a good laugh. Normally what happens is I set up and we come online, and then he goes, what should we talk about? And then we discuss what we're going to talk about, and then I go, I'm just going to play a quick blitz game. And then he invites me to a blitz game, and then he absolutely destroys me, because obviously he's about 1,000 points higher rated than me in blitz on Lichess, because I'm about 1,200 and he's about 2,300 rated on Lichess in blitz. So it's really fair. And I feel like I play better over the board. I'm not sure if people agree with me with that. So yeah, chat, if you agree, then let me know. I've never been as good online as I have been over the board. Over the board, I've been able to beat people much higher rate than I can online. So yeah, it's very interesting, very interesting. And why is this constantly failing? That doesn't look good. Okay, so the game should be starting up in just a moment, and I am going to toggle this on here. So as soon as the active boards are on, we should be able to see it. I am also multitasking, so just remembered I need to order something online. So we'll do 2 things at once because I'm just that talented. Kind of. Not really. Let's have a refresh. Anything? Are the moves coming through yet? Hello? Are we coming through? The moves should be getting transmitted. Am I missing something? Chat? I do not know what on earth is going on. Anything happening? Have I missed something? Another refresh? We're a minute late? I've got the time right, haven't I? I don't know what I'm missing. I'm just checking that I've not missed a notification or something that says you're an idiot. Don't stream today because we're not doing anything. But interesting. Ah! I summoned it. Right, what we got over here? D4 from Jonathan, as always, followed by knight F6. Okay, we're going to have a lot of... Very interesting to see. Jonathan is a big fan of the Queen's Gambit. I'm not really sure how Ivan's going to respond. It'd be really nice to see a Nimzo. I haven't seen a Nimzo yet, I don't think, in this event. But we might not. We might just see something a bit more... If we do see a Nimzo! Oh! Very excited. Very, very, very excited. Well, not Nimzo, but obviously Style Nimzo. If we see knight C3. Normally, we don't have to see knight F3 and kind of get this Catland set up. But I'd really like to see a Nimzo. On this board, we get... I've never seen this move in the Sicilian myself. Never. This is called the brick variation, apparently. I mean, not something I consider as an E4 player, but that's very interesting. We've got a standard... is this just a... What do we have here? We've got kind of your standard Italian style. It's called this a Bishop's Opener. I think this is technically a Gyoko piano game. And now we've transferred into more of this kind of Queen's Gambit decline setup with these 2 pawns on E6 and D5. Lovely, lovely, lovely stuff. This is... I can't look at that. And on this board here, what do we have? We have... okay, we have kind of an English... they call this a King's English. Very interesting. Very nicely played. I like this kind of setup. We're seeing a lot of this Bishop G2 stuff at the moment. I'm not sure what the inspiration is behind that, if there's been something in the news that I've missed. Now, we have an open Sicilian over here. What will we get now? Will we get... I'm assuming we'll get probably knight F6, and then... I'm not sure who this person is. Let's see if they've got a FIDE rating. We haven't got a FIDE rating for this gentleman. We've got a 1663 rapid rating. So it'd be very interesting to see. Okay, we're getting a like a kind of dragon variation. This is technically an accelerated dragon, apparently. Normally, I think you play knight F6 first, but yeah, quote me if I'm wrong. God, correct me if I'm wrong. And now we have a very interesting line. The best move here apparently was knight F3. Just putting more pressure in the center. This kind of is like almost Smith Mora, but just a move a bit too late. So that's very interesting to see how that game's gonna pan out. But if we go back to the board over here with Jonathan, after knight C3, we do have bishop E7. So very, very, very standard, nice Queen's Gambit decline setup. I've always played the Queen's Gambit decline with A6 and B5 to put pressure on the queen side here, but I mean that's just me, and there's a reason why I'm probably not a title player. We come back over here. We do have this kind of King's Indian defense setup going on here. Very, very standard. Very interesting move order for it. E4, then D4. It's not something that I've seen, but again, we'll talk about people who are much higher rated. I do respect this person playing some 500 rating points higher than them, and they're still going to put their best foot forward. I'm really hoping. We have H3 afterwards, just to stop any knight and bishop shenanigans. I do like it. That's very similar to how I would play it. Very nice. I mean, I'm an E4 player, but when I do inevitably make the switch to D4, I'm sure it will be very much that way. Sorry, I am multitasking, trying to get things working on here as well. On my mobile, so I can keep an eye on chat. Not the easiest job in the world, but we do try our very, very best. Amazing, that is good. Knight A3, what an interesting move. I do quite like it though. We're trying to put support over here, stop any kind of pushes in that direction. Maybe even looking to reroute a knight that way. That'd be very interesting to see how that plays out. Kidoki. This is on James Ratcliffe, Carmel, Bart, and Harry Gardner. Again, I think Harry's probably looking to fight back. Again, this is very nice stuff. Preparing for B4, not letting that move come in. I mean, A5 is good. I think that's the kind of way I play. And then we do, on Jonathan Blackburn and Ivan Rathbone-Jones's board, we do get B6, probably prepping Bishop B7, or maybe even Bishop A6, ready to target this pawn. Again, I usually play this kind of opening with C5. My idea behind C5 is doubling these pawns and then coming in for an attack on this weakness here. Or if there are any double pawns, the C5 move immediately solidifies them. So it's a very interesting, very nice way of doing things. I'm going to open up over here. Coming back over to this board over here, we got we had this last time with Jacob, I feel. Or was it someone else? Where we've been seeing this kind of structure with the light square pawns. Almost in the similar to like a Stonewall kind of style. But very, 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 very solid defense here. So very, very nice to see. Some very solid. And A5 is actually very good at making some threats of his own. Starting to walk his way, putting some pressure on the queen side. Very exciting to see. Let's see how things are looking on stream. What's going on? Log one. Let's see. Let's go back. So, Jonathan, I'm calling him the thinker at the moment, and I respect him a lot for it, but he is doing a lot of pondering, a lot of thinking, and spending a lot of time on these moves. Especially early on in the game, he's really trying to get these advantages really early to make sure that his opening one is solid, but also to not give an inch and to make sure that his gameplay isn't just good. I think he's probably striving for perfection at the moment, especially with such a big competition like the Welsh Championship just around the corner. He's probably really trying his best to make sure that he's playing at the best that he possibly can. So yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how he responds in this game. We had, oh yeah, knight e2, so that makes sense, a good developing move. Very interesting to see. Again, Jacob last time didn't even get the opportunity to castle. Very similar position to what we had last night, where Jonathan just rallied his pieces down the queen side and just ended up trading down and winning an exchange. Essentially, he ended up gaining a lot of compensation for his queen. So he gave up his queen, but in response got a rook, a pawn, and a piece. You can't exactly argue with that. That was for someone my level, that'd be fine. I'd be like, yay, free queen. But it is a lot of material to be down by, so it'd be very interesting to see if more people decide to pick up this kind of method of play. Okay, we have some exchanges going on in the middle, and after C takes, it's probably looking quite nice for white. Still very comfortable, still very solid center. Very locked down, and that's the thing at this level as well. We're playing someone, we're talking about someone who's 2200, on the cusp probably with their master title. They're probably really looking forward to playing in these more close positions. That's something that the beginners maybe not so familiar with. I'm just having a quick look at this gentleman's rating, and he's same age as me, Jacob, and well, I mean, just obviously played for a lot longer and a lot higher rated, but very nice to see. Very, very nice. Over here on what was this really interesting variation of Sicilian. Again, I'm still really unsure with knight h3. Doesn't feel like a good move to me, but then rerouting back down to f2, I guess makes sense. with a lot of these knights on the rim, and if Gotham Chess taught me anything, is that these are grim. We've got castles, and it just feels like black's just got a little bit more space, but this bishop over here isn't really doing anything. But with it being black's move, even potentially trading down here is not the worst idea, but might keep that in the barrel later. Very interesting to see where this bishop's going to end up going. The bishop doesn't really have much scope right now, but maybe to a square like e6 isn't a bad idea. Oh, bishop e6, top engine move. Oh, never mind. Who needs stockfish? I'm here. That's all we need, right? Let's get it. Let's get it. So if we just keep looking at what's going on. If we have a look at this slightly lower board here, we've got a bit of an interesting setup. We had this very interesting version of the Sicilian. Very interesting way of playing this out. See, I don't know if I would have played F3 here, but I mean, I don't hate it. It's not awful. I just think I maybe would have played something a bit more. Yeah, a bit more developing, but that's absolutely fine. We did end up having a dragon scene here. Very, very solid so far. I can't actually fault really either side. Maybe black should play a bit more aggressively. Getting the knight out or something would have been probably a bit happier. This bishop move just seems a bit passive to me, but hey. Could be absolutely fine. Jonathan spends a bit of time to play it, and he does pick, yeah, e3, solid, absolutely fine, nothing wrong with that move at all. It's really, you know, supporting the center, getting this light square bishop kind of ready to be active along this diagonal, maybe coming over to somewhere like d3 to get, it could be kind of similar to a London with our pieces all scattered around, just with the pawn on c4 and the knight on c3. Very nice way of playing it. We then do get bishop b7, very common theme in these setups, so it'll be interesting to see how Jonathan responds to this. So far, it just looks like a very nice play from both sides. Black is ready to castle at any moment, and Jonathan's only a couple moves away, and we're probably going to see something like bishop b2 or bishop d3 in castles very soon. Coming back over to, I really want to see what's going on this board down here with this accelerated dragon. We've got very, 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 very quick a3. See you Thursday night. Might play Friday. Oh, we might have to see how it goes. We might have to. Yeah, it'd be very nice to see if we get out of a game at some point. I'm assuming this is the person who whooped me with a French defense, but I don't want to talk about it if it is. Very, very, very fun game we had. I blundered massively very early, and then you blundered very massively early, and then we kind of battled it out, and then you found such a nice sequence to win back my queen afterwards, and then I had a rook against like 3 pieces, or 2 pieces, and an extra. Did you have an extra rook then? I can't remember. And I almost found the stalemate, but yeah, you caught me there. I respect it. It was a great game. Very, very fun. What have we got going on over on this board here? David, Lambton, and Mark going on. We've got this very, very strong push pawn push with b5. This knight just really hasn't got many places to go to. At least nowhere really that exciting. We've got a couple boring squares here, and anywhere here is just going to trade it off and just cause a couple of weaknesses for black. So yeah, very interesting to see. Very nice move here from David. Just kind of forcing that piece back, and then even after takes and takes, it is just a bit messy. The computer seems to think that after takes, black has this h6 move here to kind of force us back a little bit, but I don't really think it matters that much, because apparently afterwards we have queen b3, and then that's just going to be a much better position for white in the long run, and that extra compensation after h6 just doesn't really matter, especially because we could just start trading off some of the pieces. So very, very interesting game on board 5. We come back, Jonathan, again, being Mr. Thinker as he likes to be. I'm going to leave him crack on and ponder for a bit. We'll come check on him in probably about 5 or 10 minutes. I've noticed that this is the very common theme with these higher rated players we're seeing as well a lot at the moment, which is they are spending that extra time This is a very interesting setup. Mike, a 2000 rate player, playing knight h3 on move 2. Still feels like a very interesting play. Apparently, it's a variation that's in book, but it's still classed as a mistake by the engine. And I don't blame it. I mean, I would never even consider playing knight h3 against a Sicilian. I don't, like... There's so many ways you can come into a sync, play the close, play the open, Rosalimo, Moscow. I mean, got so many different ways. Alpin, I'm a big fan of the Alpin. Oh, that was an interesting choice. Yeah, I was gonna say E takes F. It just feels a bit messy after a bit, and it does feel like we're just geared up. We're pushing pawns in front of our king. We haven't got much compensation for it. This is just all feeling a bit. And apparently after d4, we're just fully locking down the position. Just looks a bit messy over here. All these pawns over here just kind of not really doing anything. It just feels, yeah. I mean, what do I know? Again, right? I've been playing this game for 3 years. People probably know these positions a lot better, especially someone of this rating. And it does help the computer say, yeah, that move wasn't maybe the best idea. But it just doesn't really feel like we're gaining anything for this. Yeah, now our bishops develop. It feels like quite an easy thing just to shut down and stop. So we'll have to see how this goes. We will have to see how this goes. For everyone who's just tuning in for the first time, welcome. It's very nice to see you all. Again, I am chatting a lot of poo and doing my absolute best to try to keep up with things. I'm probably saying a lot of things wrong. I'm giving my opinion at the rating I'm at. And these people probably smash me in an event, and you guys will probably smash me in an event. But I could talk for Britain. And that's what they wanted. They wanted someone enthusiastic who could talk for Britain. And that, in essence, is probably more fun, right? Don't we think? No? Maybe? I don't know. Last time I was here for 4 hours. Just a heads up. So, if you guys are willing to deal with me for 4 hours, then I'd really respect that. That's a lot of work. Even my wife would think is sick of dealing with me for 4 hours. We do have Queen A4. That's apparently the best engine move. Because after... What happens after Bishop C6? We just pop back to Queen C2. And we're still quite happy, apparently. We're still quite happy. We've exerted a lot of pressure in this direction towards where it's quite now difficult to say, oh, yeah, castle this way, because we are just staring down this diagonal, which could become very volatile very, very quickly. So it's very, very interesting to see how this is going to pan out for Jonathan. Again, this board is probably going to be a slower board. We've got 2 very, very strong players and also 2 strong Welsh players who are really going to be fighting right now, putting each other to the paces, but also analysing and thinking about this in a lot more detail, ready to take over. What is this? I've got a drop down here. Is that's still me, right? Yeah, it is. That's really interesting. I'm still not getting over the fact that, like, they were like, oh, whose face should we put on chess.com? Let's get that idiot. I'm like, oh, stop it, you. So yeah, very, very interesting to see what's going on. Just gonna check a couple things. Oh, amazing. So we've now got 50 players in the Open. Now, if you're watching and you're not from Wales and you keep hearing me talk about this Welsh Championship, you're like, why on earth have we got this Welsh here? Just note that next Easter weekend, the Welsh Chess Championship is happening with an Open section. So you can come battle out 4 days over Easter weekend. Very nice venue, very good food. I do highly recommend it. There is 20% off food. So go to the Welsh Chess Union website and check it out. Get signed up. First place, I think, in the Open is 250 quid. So a nice little price just to keep you guys motivated. But also 7 classical games. And you can take 2 buys. You can take 2 buys. I'm taking Easter Sunday off. I'm taking Saturday morning off. Very exciting. Very, very exciting event to be at. And I'll be there. And if you really want an autograph, I'll give you an autograph. But you might want someone a bit better at chess to give you an autograph, like Jonathan. So that'll be interesting to see. On this board, after this pawn takes, we have... Okay, Queen D7 isn't... I quite like Queen D7. We're exerting some extra pressure in this direction. And it's not likely to make much of a difference anytime soon, just because of how much protection we've got over here. But the idea is that this is going to probably be a bit of a weakness in the long run, especially because we push so many pieces in front of our king early on. So we do have h3, and h3 is a very logical move. The computer doesn't like it because Stockfish is doing Stockfish things and probably making up 8 billion lines that we've never even considered in a blue moon. But that's what it does. Over here on this board, is this we have the knight rerouting in this direction, probably ready to come up over here or in this direction. Very exciting, very, very interesting. And we've seen a lot of this happening at the moment. A lot of these games where the knights seem to just be jumping around the board for these higher rated players who are clearly trying to outmaneuver these more complicated closed positions. And we're seeing a lot more of that where people are now locking down positions. We haven't really got much crazy open tactical chess going on just yet. There will be, and it will get crazy, and there will still be loads of tactics coming up, but nothing that I've seen yet. We've got this move here ready to open up the bishop to right down, coming over down here. Very nice, very solid here from Harry against Carmel. But yeah, still every game is still rather even. I was about to say every game still feels rather even. This feels like something. Have I just missed something? What's just happened? We now got a nearly +2 position advantage for white. Oh, why is this so bad? Because it really, the computer really likes Rook B1 over here to put some pressure down this open file. It is a very nice idea, I think, in the long run, just to start getting in some long-term pressure and some ideas. This file is probably going to become a big avenue for a lot of the pieces in the long run. So yeah, as soon as I talk, it feels like everyone's eval bars is like, you know what, we're going to shake things up. Like this eval bar's been low since move 2. So I'm not really worrying too much about that one. I think it'll be very interesting to see what happens in the long run. And this pawn coming down right here, very aggressive, and it's, again, my exact kind of move. We're trading it off, and we're just creating this massive weakness around the king where there's no real pawns in front of it to protect it. So these two pieces here are probably gonna have a very hard time trying to find a nice home and find a nice place to be. Mainly just because, what are they gonna do? Like, you know, they've got to be around to protect the king. Now, if we're going rid of the pawns, we need to protect the king somehow. So yeah, very interesting decisions being made on this board here. Ivan does play top engine move, which is c6. And it'd be very interesting to see how things unfold afterwards. So there's a good few options. The computer really likes c takes d, and then e takes. Knight e5 is apparently also a very good move, putting just a bit of extra pressure on this piece pawn here. And then rook c1 as well to just put a bit of pressure on this, which is again very, very, very common theme in these kinds of positions. I've seen it a lot recently, especially as I've been trying to understand d4 positions a bit more. As someone who's been an e4 player most of their chess career, I mean all of their chess career, and it's finally looking for a change is very interesting to see. This board we've just looked at, whose board have we got next? If we go down to the next board after this one, with David and Chris. And this board is still looking very, very, very even. Yeah, it's just still quite a standard early position. Quite normal post to see. We're just applying a bit of pressure down the D file here. Probably going to see castle soon. Very surprised if we don't see black castle after this move, with not much to do. So yeah, it'd be very interesting. And then we have this board at the bottom with Harley and Jamie, who I'm not really sure who these two lads are. So it'd be very interesting. And this is a very interesting Sicilian where we almost kind of got like, I'm not really sure how to explain it. It kind of went from this variation here with a3, which I've never played and never studied myself, and then kind of into a Smith Morra but late, and then it's kind of an Alpin but again late. So it's very interesting to see, but they're clearly taking their time. I'm not sure. Do we have a profile for these players? We don't. So I'm gonna go see if I can find the chess results site for this real quick, and I will be right back. Oh, we just gotta move over here. Nothing major, just the light's being developed. And Jonathan does do c takes d5. My goodness. When I got to old, hey, do you want to commentate a classical chess event? I thought I'd have lots of breaks, lots of downtime, lots of times to pause and reflect. When you're trying to do, what game, how many games am I doing at the moment? 7 games on the trot. A lot happens, and a lot happens quickly. Like I turned around for 1 second, and then we had castles. Rook comes over, applying that pressure there on B1, and then Rook then comes over, threatening the knight. The knight just comes back. Which actually the computer thinks is a mistake. Apparently the best move here would have been, knight over here, just continuing to keep this knight. This knight's on such a nice square. It'd be very nice if we could look after it. Even h4 is better, and it just kind of solidifies this knight on this outpost. And there's so many ways it could be defended at the moment. So yeah, very interesting to see how this game's going. Yeah, I was going to find this website of chess results so I could see if I can find their chess results. Looking in England. Staffordshire Congress Open. Oh, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not in the Open. I can't even remember their names now. Sorry, what were their names? It was Jamie Roberts. Jamie Roberts is 1904 rated. And we have, who is the other one? Harley West. Well, I can't seem to see on this list. Didn't standard? In the Open? I can't seem to see West. I might be blind. There's a very high chance I'm blind. Ah, there they are. Oh, 15-15. Very interesting. Yeah, it's interesting the ratings haven't come up here. I wonder what's going on there. So after C takes, E takes. Apparently the best move now is Rook D1. Rook D1 castles, and then Knight E5. So it'll be very interesting to see. Jonathan has been playing some really accurate games recently, and nearly every time I say a move, he's been following it. It'll be really interesting to see if he keeps that up. Or if he throws the game away. Again, be really interested. I think regardless, as long as he draws this game, I don't think anyone can beat him. I think he's first place. So he just needs to draw. But I know Jonathan. I know he likes to win. But I think he'd be happy to draw if it means he wins this event. So it'd be very, very, very interesting to see how he does. There we go, all sorted there. I've managed to get the chat pinned on my phone so I can keep an eye on things. It's very nice. People are actually sticking around to listen to me talk. You guys must all be crazy. No, I'm joking. What's going on this? We do have... This, again, very, very similar to Jonathan's game last time. We pushed down A3 and the computer said this was a very bit of a mistake. I think he's almost getting himself ready for it with his knight over here. He's learning from his mistakes. Again, this is what we see with players at this rating. So, very, very exciting to see. I'm loving this aggressive and dynamic play here from, again, 500 points lower. If you think you've got a shot, you might as well take it, right? And go and get tough. Interesting. So last move we had was Queen D2, but then the knight has come over, putting a bit of pressure over here. Very, very exciting to see. I feel like there was a button I was able to press last time, and I was able to just tap between games. Oh, it was this thing, wasn't it? This dashboard. It's fantastic. They would just jump through. My goodness, look at that. Very accurate game currently going on this board. This board seems to be a bit of a roller coaster. What's going on? Again, this is a very, very interesting situation. And this king just feels wide open. I feel like we're soon going to start seeing some nasty attacks coming up that way. But, very interesting. This was the accelerated dragon board. So, very, very, very exciting. Why is this gone funky on my screen all of a sudden? Hang on, are you guys seeing that? Or is that just me? Sorry, I've just found a really, really funny thing that I need to... I didn't forget, but it's my mum's birthday on Tuesday. I was like, oh no! I haven't ordered anything, because I'm an egg. And now I just found a balloon covered in dolphins that I can send to a house on Moonpig with a card. And I'm like, well, absolutely. Because I think it was last year, maybe the year before. I think it was the year before. She sent me a balloon covered in dinosaurs. So I'm like, well, if you're going to do that, have a balloon that says, have a fantastic day. Because that's the kind of thing I do. I need to get a dress. Which I can't even remember to save me life. He moved again. I've lost everything. I'm losing everything. This is a nightmare. Oh, I keep opening the wrong tab. Boom! Nailed it. Right, what have I missed? On this board here, the knight has kind of finally rerouted itself, ready to threaten this knight here, just putting a bit of pressure, just trying to alleviate some of this queenside attack that we have going on. Very nice, very, very nice. If we come down to this game here, these bishops are just looking just to run around the place a bit. But these bishops do seem to just exert a lot of pressure on these diagonals. Very nice, very exciting. Come over here. Again, this is a very standard position. I feel like I've probably played this position a million times in my life, where we've got kind of this like Italian structure. I played the Italian for so long. So, I mean, well, that's just so, I mean, like, as long as I can remember. So, yeah, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Connect delivery is expensive nowadays, isn't it? We've come back to this board here. What did Jonathan play? He did play 95, which again is the second best move that he could have played. So at least he didn't just play something stupid like I would. Like I would have played something stupid. I've probably played this. And let's see how quickly this eval bottle drops. Oh, this move is fine. What? I should have faith in myself. But yeah, 95 is just better, right? Yeah, 95 is just better. I should have faith in myself. Change me card. GG. Boom. Boom. Pay. I'm now broke, but worth every second. There, sorted. Sort of stupid card with a photo of my dog and a stupid balloon for my mum's birthday. And now I have to, all I have to do is worry about chess. Amazing. What have I broken? Ah! Somebody made a noise. Ah, he does castle! He castles! That was the second best move after knight fd7. Interesting. Put pressure here. Oh, what's Jonathan's best move? Bishop d3. I said bishop d3 earlier. I'm just so good at chess. Maybe I should be a title player. What do you guys think? No? That is 100% fair. Because I'd be awful. Over here, again, this is very... So yeah, we trade this off and it just gives Jacob the opportunity to develop his final undeveloped piece. Very nice. very active, very strong. These pawns here stopping any ideas from black being able to come in. The only thing you can really do is maybe look to reroute this way in the long run, but it's still very much not an ideal situation to be in. I don't really know where we go from here. So yeah, very, very interesting to see. I'm gonna yawn. Was this the board with the really with the brick? Yeah, I don't even know what to say about this board at this point. I do think, again, if this is the variation people play against the Sicilians, the variation people play, I've never seen it in my life. I never would have considered it. I'm just gonna Google it real quickly. Sicilian brick variation. Well, if Hikaru has 1,500 games with it, then... But the comments on the chess.com opening page... It's just... This is just... Yeah, the engine is like... White wins 22% of the time with this variation, according to Explorer. So yeah, again, not the most ideal situation. If we come over here, black then does come over here. Queen a5, again, very, very much an attacking position, making the most of this and kind of limiting some options for white, but not much. The idea is that maybe if this bishop wasn't here in another life, or this was castle, this would be a nice strong pin. And maybe to just add any extra pressure if we do decide, actually, maybe we do want to play, a3 eventually. So it'd be very interesting to see how we respond to this threat. Any interesting things happen? Again, all the boards are still rather even, apart from this board here. What is going on here? I feel like we missed a lot. So this is the English board. Oh, interesting. The best move here was apparently to play c5 or queen b3 to put more pressure in this direction. Very interesting. Takes. We are up a pawn. After all these trades, rook b1 came in. Hopped around a little bit. I don't know why there's an arrow there. I probably drew that as an accent. And now we're offering this queen trade. Doesn't accept the queen trade. Definitely not a worthwhile trade to make at this point because the extra pressure coming on here. After that and that is just very, very, very messy. And there's not really many places for the bishop to run other than back to maybe a7. Which just isn't really ideal, I'm assuming, at this point. Especially because afterwards the rook just runs up here and gets ready to cause some grief. Jonathan does just keep developing his pieces, gets his bishop on d3, looking ready to castle very, very soon. Again, we'll come over maybe a bit more to this board when it's a bit more, I don't want to say more exciting. Of course, this game's very exciting. This game is getting aggressive. We now have g4, probably ready to play g5, h4, h5 to march up the king side of the board here. And I mean, I play similar when I'm playing against certain variations as well, like the Piets and the, is it Piets I play this against? Yeah. So yes, very, very nice to see. I think when in the Piets, it's through the lion jaw attack? The Austrian. Oh, it's the Austrian f-ball. I can never remember if it's the Austrian or if it's the Piets, or if it's the lion's jaw. Still very interesting line that I learned from hanging pawn z4 repertoire. Maybe very, 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 very fun. We have very similar things going on this board here as well. With g4 coming up. I wonder if they're just looking over to the board next to them and being like, hey, what's going on over here? Very, very, very similar setups. Yeah, big fan. Big fan. This is a lovely little beat. I'm very, very much a fan of this. Just nice chill. These are all lo-fi beats. They're all royalty free. I can bring up chat here, which makes my life a lot easier. Can I keep that up? I can't. There's a vote. Who will win? Oh, I didn't know we could do that. White. All right. Go on. Let's get it. Let's get the vote going. Jonathan's just looking a bit more aggressive right now, which is nice to see. Very interesting to see how he decides to play this. This knight is so well placed at the moment. Quite hard to see where he's going to end up going to. Oh my goodness, I can't stop yawning. Ah. Obviously, the knight came down here to threaten it and prompt it away. Very interesting move. Again, we're just trying to put a bit of pressure here and maybe even look at just come down here. In the long run, the best move apparently here is rook c1, or castles. So it'd be very interesting to see how Jonathan plays this out. Very, very interesting. Very nice game. I've turned more into a golf commentator. I've just realised. I kind of like slow down a little bit. I'm like, yeah, very nice, very nice. I'm gonna do the gentle golf clap that they do. This. Nope. I wonder if I have a sound. Oh, is there a sound effect button I can get in here? That'd be amazing. That's not for today. That's not for today. I'm not whilst I'm on someone else's stream. If this is my own channel, then 100% we'd say let's go for it. And this is the last round of the event. It's been a 3-day event. Very, very exciting. Very, very exciting. If we have a look here, you can see a very close look at the evaluations. Jonathan's slightly ahead over here. Jacob, oh, a bit of a jump in the eval bar here, so we're going to jump over and see what's happened here. And the queens have been traded off. And apparently, if after king takes, much better position for white. Why is such a better position? Just the two bishops just seem to be given a lot more pressure on the situation. This bishop here can't really do anything. Has no real impact. So we have two dead bishops, dead knight. And that's what we get. We do get king takes. And this is amazing to see. We've seen this a couple of times where people have been giving up castling rights just for a better position and more active pieces. So very nice to see. James over here as well, starting his own queenside march down the board. Apparently we missed the best move. The best move being king h8. Stepping out of any danger. So very interesting to see. Not what we got. We got b5. Getting ready. The best move in response being d4 over here. Just kind of trying to slow down and snuff out this attack a little bit. And maybe alleviate just a bit of the pressure. Because after takes and takes. I'll probably take that's a bad idea. Apparently takes. We should play knight takes. And knight takes. C takes. The pressure's just a bit weak. They got two isolated queen pawns. Much more relaxed on the queen side for white. So it'll be interesting to see how they respond to this. Now, this was a board I was really curious to see how it would go after this. Because we haven't casted and we are launching this attack with g4, g5. After this, we had the knight coming over here. And we do play g5. And apparently the best move here is to go knight h5. I'm assuming with the idea to eventually route around maybe this way. In the long run, maybe not. But it's a much nicer square. Knight g8 apparently is awful. And then knight takes e4 being the last available option. So it's not there's actually much that black can do. Knight h5 being the only good move that keeps some kind of equality or advantage for black. And we see... What did we get here? It was... Oh, this is a different game. What have we got here? After... Okay, this is very similar to most Italian game styles. We get a rook e1, and then the knight coming back around here. And apparently the next best thing to happen now is d4. Now the pressure from this square has kind of been alleviated, and we can start trying to break open the center and open some lines for our pieces, especially as we got this queen still staring up this way, and we also probably want to start getting this e pawn pushed up the board, open up this file. Otherwise, why would we place our rook here in the first place? Very, very exciting. And then, hang on, we just had a lot just happen here. And after this move here, oh, very nice here. And apparently, knight f5 coming in here, just ready to apply some pressure. Because if we get, let's say we got a nothing move here. Well, I meant f takes. Yeah, it's just knight e3 check. It's just brutal. So we do need to be ready for that at any point. So yeah, very exciting. After rook takes, the pawn coming up. Very interesting to see how this is going to go. This bottom board here with the response here. The best move here is just actually take. Let's open it up this here for the rook, and even just after it's pushing up in this direction, probably be quite nice. And black does have a couple problems coming up as the g file does start opening up, so it'll be very interesting to see how that game goes. Very, very interesting, very powerful. This board we've just looked at, and just, yeah, offering the trade of bishops, very standard. Now, Jonathan, what have I missed? We have slight inaccuracy from Ivan as we play a6, which now apparently allows b takes and then bishop takes. So we're very interested to see how this is played out. Rook fd1. Apparently the position is just a lot more solid for white, and we've got a few problems that we're going to have to deal with in the long run. Namely, probably coming up this way in the long run. I'm assuming if we made a nothing move and played bishop c4, the pressure on this pawn is insurmountable and just becoming very, very annoying to deal with. Very nicely done. Haven't missed anything yet. Time situation is a bit different though. We've got 10 minutes more from Ethan, so it'll be interesting to see how that kind of mounts up. Most eval bars are starting to swing now, which is very exciting, very nice to see. So we've got a massive advantage for, well, a decent advantage for white at the moment after we play, oh, that move seems to have been a bit of a, offering the trade of rooks. The best thing now to do apparently is play knight c3 and just apply some pressure to this piece here. So this is a very exciting game from the get-go. A lot of pressure on these two files, and again, it's very nice to see, again, in the lower rating I should say, because again, it's still higher rated than me, but people letting the pressure sit and build instead of just taking on the habit, because as they like to say, to take is a mistake, and people are showing that and demonstrating that really effectively in this event. If we come over to board 3, again, fighting to claim this file here. This is a decent move. Apparently the best move to play here was d4. And it just kind of helps alleviate some of this pressure for white that's coming, barreling down, I should say. Barreling down the queen side, but not so much. This board is still very, very even. In these positions, the name actually, I think, translates to the slow game. In Italian, I think. I'm gonna translate section. Wait, what is that not what it is? Show original. So does that actually just mean game, piano game? That can't be right. Detect language. Is that am I that can't be true. Okay, Gyoko piano actually means I play slowly. Very interesting. I never knew that. I knew it meant slow something. So this just means it's probably gonna be a slower game, a bit more maneuvering on this front. I'd like to see. Let me just check this on so I don't accidentally scroll to the wrong place. This is still ongoing. We're still pondering what to do with this. We probably are going to see this pawn get taken off the board very soon. This game was very interesting. After we had g4 and we played knight h5, we then came back around this way. And apparently this wasn't the best move, because apparently queen c7 is coming up. That is a much nicer situation for them to be in. Queen b4 is also just as good, and the last one being queen d8. So basically, get your queen out of dodge. Queen c4 being the preferred place to go, just because I guess the battery forming down the c file is eventually probably going to be a big problem that white's going to have to deal with. And what do we get here? We get c takes, what's it, d takes c, which was the best move, leaving Ivan with its weak pawn in the middle of the board. So very, very exciting. And we might, if I'm wondering what happens if b takes and rook ad1. Oh, rook fd1, sorry. Is apparently very, very popular. With the idea then probably come up to bishop c4 and just apply some pressure over here. So yeah, very exciting to see. Over here, we've missed something. The rooks have been swapped off on this board here. And now what we do see is we have a much more active bishop pair. A much better knight. And this is the difference between some of these players. What's probably what we're looking to do eventually will be to probably maneuver our knight, trade off this bishop, and just make use of the fact that we have these monstrous pawns here that just stop the knight doing anything, and these pawns being locked up around the black bishop just allow very little movement. So yes, very exciting, very well played. Very tricky for a newer player or a lower rated player probably to figure out, but fair play. So far 1754 has, that can't be, oh wait, am I seeing that right? Has drawn to 1900s and beaten a 2000. What? Who is this? They're 14 years old. They're expected to go at 50 rating points. My goodness. Fair play. Absolute fair play. I can't believe that. That's insane. Yeah, very well done, I guess. So after, and then pawn recaptures, and then rook ad1 is apparently a much nicer position for white. Apparently rook fd1 is now no longer the better move. Stockfish is saying that it doesn't actually make that move anymore. It's changed its mind. It has a better idea, which is absolutely fine. What's live board tracking do? We recommend you start the most recent version of Stockfish in your analysis center and toggle off the client analysis feature when they were saying. Interesting. Let's do that and this. Let's see what happens. So if there's only one good move on the board, the engine should now show us, and it does recommend actually let's switch off cloud analysis and let's get this. Let's let it have the oomph it deserves. Oh, something's happened on this board. There's only one good move in this position, and that was to jump down over here to kick this knight out. But we played this over here, which just allow. What does this allow? It allows knight f5. Knight f5 is absolutely devastating. I mean, after knight f5, let's just say we get a move like this. And the mate is coming very soon. Very exciting. My goodness. A lot of stuff happening in these events, in these games. On this board over here, with a knight rerouting, apparently the best move now, yeah, knight c3, getting ready to trade off this bishop. It's very interesting to see how we respond to the situation. Yeah, this is the one where they're still fighting over this e-file. And it's not really clear as to kind of what benefit this e-file is going to end up generating. Eventually, in the long run, it probably will be quite useful to maintain some control over this. But we're probably just going to see a lot of pressure building up here for a while whilst they're trying to figure out where they're going to go with it. Come over here to the slower piano game, which we just found out means plays slowly. There we go. For the Italian speakers in chat. Yeah, very calm, very interesting. Just kind of very quick. Doesn't really explain what the setting does, so we're just gonna Let's see how they're looking over here. And then, yeah, rook f1 was the move the engine suggested. Right, Stockfish, you gotta make your mind up. Is rook f1 the best move? Is rook a1 the best move? Well, now you think it might be bishop e2. And this is the issue with computers, and I'm going to say that from an IT guy's perspective. Computers are idiots. So yeah, what does this button do? Open a live tracking board. I don't know what that button does. So I just in case that's anything I shouldn't have done, just shut that off. Interesting settings that we got. That's a bit better. Much better. There we go. Right. So if we come back over to this board, yeah, we did get it. And the idea eventually to trade off this this bishop and just, again, work off the fact that our pieces are much better placed on the board. Very, very nicely done. Coming over to board 3 again. They're still just contesting over this, so we'll come back to that if there's any change. And what happened here? Okay, so trading here to double the pawns. Whilst isn't losing, it just keeps the game very equal. Apparently d4 was the best move. Takes, take. I mean, this is just better. The bishops are just so much stronger. So, very interesting situation to be in. Coming down here to board 5. Are we on board 5? My goodness, what has happened here? There was a... Oh yeah, this happened. And then taking there was a massive mistake. Because I'm assuming this, because the pawn dropping here. Or it takes f3. Oh, that's brutal. Knight f4. We can't come here because of mate. If we come down, we have come. This is brutal. It doesn't even think just. It doesn't even think here. It thinks this first. This is queen e3 check. Oh, the bishop protects. Oh, I'm blind. I'm blind man. I'm a very blind man, so we're gonna ignore that and pretend that I wasn't blind and that was really smart. I saw everything. This board, rook came over and the pawn takes. Okay, still a very even game for this board. Fair play. This board here. Oh, I've pressed too many buttons. So this is the board where they decide to trade off the queens, trade off, and now we have this horrible looking situation where you have to take and give up your castle rights or just put your rook back. Again, very, very nice, very sensible idea. Just trade off these pieces over here. I thought this was the best move. Oh, rook takes first, right? This actually misses because the response to king f1. Alright, well. Still looks better for black at the moment, so we'll keep an eye on this game, see how this unfolds slowly. Every other game, other than this game here, which is very, very even. This is the move, I guess it makes sense to try and stop the knight coming in this, the bishop coming in this direction. But it'd be very interesting to see actually how he responds. According to the computer still really likes bishop b6 to try and pry this knight away to then play bishop b5. So very, very interesting to see how this is going to end up going. After this, we have the Rook's Land over, and probably the best move here is King F2. Or castles. So yeah, very interesting. There's also A5, which is an option, just to add a bit of extra reinforcement to this piece. We've already seen this one. Don't seem to have much people moving, which is great. We're now entering the middle game phase, and this is kind of the phase that we had last time we were playing this event, where things kind of just slowed down for a little bit. Oh, excuse me. But we are seeing much larger swings on the evaluation board here. Now we finally get takes. And after King, what's King G2? Anywhere else is a massive. Because this is just apparently Rookie 3 is just absolutely devastating. Yeah, of course, Rookie 3. Actually, yeah, that makes sense. What if, what's the other option that's given? Knight F2 probably sucks as well because of the same option. But actually, has to take. So basically, we're going to be very careful with this check, and coming up to G2 is the only option. Very interesting to see if we get the right response from white in this position. Oh, this song is such a bop. I love these little lo-fi beats. I'm starting to like really enjoy the streaming side of things just for these lo-fi beats. It is relaxing. It is very relaxing. Let me just check a couple things. What on earth have I broken? Why is that broken? Ah, I need to refresh chat on this device here. Please chat to me. I'm bored. There we go. Oh, we have movement. We have. That's just insane. Everything goes wrong here. We might see this game. This game might end. This game might end on... What board are we on? Board 5 might be over. Again, this is a decent move still from white, but again, the computer really wants to see, and I can understand. Prying the knight away from this defense, we can start trading off these pieces just because we have such a better position. And then our knight can start looking to do bits in this direction. This pawn is going to look very weak, and it's going to probably get attacked quite severely. So very interesting. Did we see... Is this game coming to an end? I think this game is going to be over very, very soon. Best move here, apparently, for Ivan is Bishop D6. Just applying some extra pressure here, trying to kick this knight out of this amazing square it's managed to find itself on. Oh, David. David plays on and just goes down a queen. Ah, heartbreaking. Again, it gets a lot of compensation for it. But still, absolute painful situation to be in. Very interesting to see how this game continues. This game, again, they seem to be at a bit of an impasse. I wonder if we're going to get a really... We've had really early draws in the last game. We come to this board over here. I'm not really understanding why we made this move at this point. Best move being A4 to stop any pushes coming down this way eventually. But again, it's still a very, very even game on this board over here, so it'll be interesting to see how this develops into anything more interesting. this, again, we haven't seen a move on this board either. It'd be very, very interesting to see if that just kind of converts into a different situation. Now we finally get a move from Ivan, and after a bit of thinking, he does decide to play bishop d6 and just put her again. 5 minutes ago, this is the best move Stockfish come up with, and now it's like, I don't know if I want to do this. Let's just go. Let's be doing anything. So that's going to refresh quickly. So very annoying. I am going to turn down the depth of Stockfish. It is probably churning my computer to death. So we'll see how this goes. We're at a bit of a point where some of the games are frozen. So I'm just have a sip of my drink. Again, yeah, the board don't seem to be refreshing very often, so very interesting. Again, the Thinker is probably doing what he can do. Very, very, very exciting. Love watching these higher rated players do stuff. Oh my goodness, I've just actually jumped to a lot more viewers than I thought I had. Hello, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I will check my phone. I don't think anyone cared about my existence. And apologies for my hair. Maybe I'll put my hood up in a bit. And apologies I don't have the Doug camera. If you watch my streams, you know that I have a Doug camera normally. And I had the puppy up here, but the puppy is currently unavailable for this stream. Just, there we go, perfection. Perfection. And we on this board, we do trade off the thing. I can't remember what it's called. I'm assuming after this we're gonna have to play. Well, the computer really wants to see like c5 check. So yeah, very interested to see what happens there. This board, after this, we do just have the bishop's trying to gain a bit of scope. Probably look at the right side this way, or maybe even this way. So very interesting to see how that might end up going. I feel like what have we got here? That doesn't feel like it was the right thing to do. The computer really likes rook f5 here. Just to start applying some pressure down here and just claim this file for black. But we are up quite a bit. But again, black still has white still has a lot of compensation. Still got a decent amount of pawns on the board, and does have a piece and two rooks against a queen and a rook. So that I don't think was the correct thing to do, was it? Because your queen. Oh, it proves queen f3 actually. I thought queen e2 was better. I don't know. Change his mind. Queen e2, queen e2. Queen h3 and queen takes d3, and then this is a problem. Come up here, and then it says rook f8. Or queen takes c4. Queen takes c4 just as good. Now we're just gobbling. Gobbling is the best way of playing chess, in my humble opinion. Over here, we actually are now routing this back here. Now we are putting some pressure on this pawn. I guess the best move here is going to be b5 to try and keep us alive, but bishop b6 is just going to be coming very annoying. I see this. I don't even know what we do here. I guess the computer says bishop g5 here. I mean, I was thinking this, but even after that, I mean, don't we just... Nope, trading is apparently bad. Maybe I just don't know how to play chess. That sounds like the most feasible situation. Jonathan... Ooh, Jonathan may be making a bit of a poor decision here. Just sliding his piece back. The computer really wanted bishop f5 and just coming in and taking over this diagonal as well. But sliding back here, I'm not really sure what he was worried about, but maybe the idea is maybe to come up support here with f4. But now apparently queen c7 has come in, which just applies a bit more pressure to this piece than I think he was hoping to have to deal with. So yeah, very interesting decision. Not awful, not game ending, not crushing. We're still very even, but it'll be interesting to see how Ivan responds. And then after this check, what do we get next? And then yeah, then we are just gonna start gobbling these pawns on this on the side. So that's good. That's very good to see. Very nice. Very good. Very nice. What's going on this board? Oh, this is the one we just took here, and now black seems to be in the driver's seat a bit more now. This is allow black just to get a bit of initiative. If you actually, yeah, king takes d7. And yeah, knight c5 to try and put some pressure on this pawn, but then these pawns are just going to be a bit weaker in the long run. Actually, no, not so bad, because afterwards we do get b3, but still, it's not exactly the most ideal situation, I don't think, for. Well, I'm missing this board. This board. This is the one with the brick variation, wasn't it? Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on this board at this point. This there you go, we have mountains of pressure on this diagonal here and this diagonal here. I'm assuming the overall aim is to just start attacking this. These pawns coming down on the queen side, but these pawns are a bit of a bother. And I still think the best move back then probably was d4 still. And d4, actually, yeah, d4, one of the best moves on the board. We got c takes d4 and knight takes d4. And knight takes d4 and then c take. Oh, actually, it prefers this. We now just alleviate this pressure with this IQP kind of situation over here. It's just much nicer, much easier to deal with. But that's all we get. After this situation, we do get a very interesting decision to try and... I'm not 100% sure what the meaning behind this move was. We do get h4, which is the best move. Getting ready just to storm up this way. Playing g5. g5 is going to be a menace of a move eventually. What's on this board? We've got knight g5. Again, not making really an effort to protect this pawn, but again, I don't really actually think there was much they could have done, unfortunately. So they run away, and then the pawn in c4 is gone, and then white's just won. Yeah, 3 pawns. Not exactly the most fun situation to be in, but we'll see how much longer. I don't think that game's going to be on for much longer. Oh, we've got a draw agreed between Harry and Carmel, so 50% score and then 3 out of 5 for Harry. So very nice, very well played to both of those. Be interested to see where they end up on the scoreboard. We've had a move from Ethan that seems to be quite a big mistake in offering this queen trade. Apparently after, was it G4? Knight g4. Where is this though? Knight g4. Oh, knight g4. But even the queen takes apparently is a much nicer situation. Knight d7 apparently as well is a very nice move. And knight d7, we're now exposing this. Very nice. And then queen takes. And this bishop is just a monster, just sat here having a nice chill time. Very interesting to see how Jonathan plays that. We have seen Jonathan playing some very exciting moves in this event, so very much looking forward to seeing how it goes. Canada's is also ongoing. It's very worth very quickly, and I apologize to everyone, but if we go to take ×3, no, not take that. Have a look at the candidates, what's going on right now. Caruana slightly better than Hikaru. Prague doing better than Giri. Blue Bomb and Wei Yi having an equal game, same as Sinarov and Esipenko. Very interesting to see these positions kind of unfolding. What is the best move here now? It's very exciting, very exciting. This board King's marching in, just getting ready to try and protect these and actually try and get them more active. We are technically, even though we still have all of these pawns on the board, so 14 pawns on the board, it's still technically classed as an endgame right now because we have got the queens off the board and both the rooks. So it'll be very interesting to see, and it'll all come down effectively to who's got a better game endgame knowledge. I unfortunately have my bets on the 2200 for this, but it'll be very interesting to see how this goes. Mike and James, again, this very, very interesting situation with this king just tucked away over here. Very interesting to see how we take advantage of the situation. We have the draw on board 4. Coming down to board 5, black. Just for this really, really... Again, this move here, I was a bit unsure what the meaning was behind it. And that's... I should say we're getting nothing move. I like to see how these go. Idea is then queen f5 check. Just listen. It's trying to get me to draw. Why can't I tell you? Okay. Makes sense. Interesting. Very interested to see how this actually ended up playing out. Oh, great. We got the off the rook trade. I mean, that's... surely just... No, oh, because of the mate. Yeah, that's actually... I didn't even see. Yeah, that actually does start a mate threat. So queen should take... And then we're just a rook against a knight. That would be very interesting to see. And do we get that? We get that. We get the queen takes. Very nice threat idea from David, but unfortunately, queen takes. Rook is forced to recapture. It'd be very interesting if the king moves. We just come down here and last game. Wow, very nice game. I think we're probably going to be seeing that prompt in a resignation over here. We get Jonathan rerouting his knight over, which again, top engine move here, putting pressure over here, threatening to rip open this position. Because even if takes, we can take first with check and then look to take back over here. Very nice, very well played. It'll be very interesting to see how this comes about. And after this move here, we did eventually get the bishop coming over. And now the best move now is bishop a5, and then these pawns here are just going to become a massive problem for black. Board 3. What do we get? Board 3. Okay, the knight coming in, just kind of say, I'm not really sure if I want to trade yet. But again, this board is still quite equal, quite dry, I'll say. But that's alright. And then after all the trades, the knight is fair play. We're still fighting, even though we're in a much worse endgame. I mean, the computer's like, well, dude, what are you doing? Just give. But he's not giving in. He's not giving an inch, and I really respect that play on. We have all these trades coming off here. And then after... Oh, is that actually what's happened? And then this pawn comes down. Ooh. Computer really doesn't like that, and I do understand why, because we have takes, and then what's the move after that? 92. Oh, we're just going to be looking to reroute nicely in this direction. Very exciting to see. It's been a very interesting game. Very interesting game on this board. And then, yeah, we get knight a5 on board 2 with Jacob Boswell. So very, very exciting. Very, very nice stuff going on here. If we come down... Oh, have I missed a game? Have I missed a result? No, I haven't. There's still only 6 games left. I'm very surprised that this board is still playing on. We'll take a pawn here. I mean, these pawns here are just absolutely unstoppable. And we're probably going to just see him march his way down to e1. We really want to see rook d3. Add some extra protection to this pawn here. I get that. Rook c3 is also an option. But yeah, rook d3 is just better. I think we probably will just see one of these pawns marching down the board. There's nothing that he can do. Can't stop both of them. This game will very quickly end, I'm assuming. This board here, Jamie Roberts iOS. We had this kind of idea here. And now probably, yeah, again, h5 is coming. Long castles is an idea as well. g5 is also just as good, kicking this knight away from his house. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to see how that kind of goes about. This board is getting kind of going to be stagnant between Mike and James, but they've still got an hour on the clock, so anything can happen at this point. I think we're probably going to see some results coming very soon. This board here, we do get this check here. But apparently after king c2, it's just null and void. It doesn't really matter. And this pawn will be falling very, very shortly. Just letting white come in and absolutely snowball. Because after king c2, we get b4. And we probably get bishop takes. Putting pressure here. King e7, which is going to be apparently just coming up this way. There's just not much we can do. We take here. The pressure here is just unstoppable. Very, very, very unfortunate. I think we're probably going to be seeing this game wrap up very, very shortly. I think we have just had another game end in a resignation, and that is Black resigning, Mark winning, and now having... Is that taking him to 2.5 points? Did he have 2.5 points before then, or is he now at 3.5 points? Mark's at 2.5 points now. A nice 50% score is probably very, very, very nice. Oh, we haven't got a game. We've got is this a bye, I think, from Chun Hei Wong, who's just not played the final round. Very unfortunate. We have 2 draws and a win from the 4th place. It'd be very interesting to see. Jonathan really needs to win this game, especially as Jacob's looking like he's going to be winning his. So we need to make sure that he does win this game. Otherwise, he's going to be in a bit of a pickle where he's going to be drawing first place. And I don't know if he wants to draw first place. I think he wants to be top of the table. I think he wants to show his stuff, especially with Welsh Championships coming up. There's a lot that needs to be done right for this event. An interesting choice. I don't really exactly think this is the best move, but it does try and protect this here. And the computer still actually thinks taking knight f6 is still one of the best moves, with queen b3 being the alternative, putting pressure over here. Because after this, I mean, where do we go? We go queen c8. And after takes. Then we just, yeah. We just pick this pawn up. It's a very nice situation for Jonathan to be in, I think, at the moment. I think he's probably feeling very comfortable, very confident. Is trading queens here a bad idea, then? Yeah, trading queens here is an awful idea. So as long as he doesn't trade queens, he's fine. And I trust Jonathan. He's probably better at this game than I am. Like a smidge. So yes, very interesting, very fun games happening. How are we looking over here? Is this working? Why are you not working? There we are. There we are. Got that fixed. My phone keeps like just giving up on me, but on. Amazing stuff is happening right now. This check is still ongoing on Jacob's board, and again, it still is the best move, but with a plus 3.5 advantage for Jacob, we're probably going to... Actually, he's thinking nearly a 4 advantage now that the Stockfish is kind of catching up, but it is taking a bit of time jumping back and forth. Again, the best move here is apparently to play king c2, step out of the way, and then the pressure on this pawn is going to become quite problematic, with there not being much for them to do other than coming over here. The pressure is going to start mounting in this direction as well. So, yeah, very, very, very unfortunate situation to be in. We're looking very, very good. And these 2 bishops are absolute monsters. Unfortunately, just these pawns on all these light squares, stopping Black's light square bishop from being able to do much. And these 2 dark square pawns for a very long time suffocating this dark square bishop to the point where when it was eventually able to become useful, it just wasn't able to actually do that much. Over here, we do end up having the pawn takes and rook takes situation. And I can't remember what the ideal move was meant to be in this situation. I think apparently it was knight e2 with the idea to route around, let's just say, and nothing move happens. To castle. I wasn't expecting that. Castling. Alright. Go for it. I guess the king is slightly tucked away a bit better. Eventually, we probably will have king sliding over to h1. Just keeping it very safe. So very, very exciting. And we do get the correct move, again, from Jacob Boswell, the top seed of the event, who currently really needs a win to secure even a chance of coming in joint first at the moment. He's got to hope that Jonathan maybe slept in, forgot about the clock change, and that's shaking him up, and that he's going to have an unfortunate unfortunate game this morning against Ivan, but so far it looks like Ivan's given a couple of opportunities for Jonathan to come back in, and after we get this knight check by the looks of things and bishop takes, the pawn here, pawn here after queen b3 is looking very weak, very, very juicy, very exciting. Queen b3 apparently first is also just as good. I'm not sure what happens if the knight, am I missing there, like, does something get taken if I jump here? Oh yeah, because obviously there's a threat on this knight here. I can brain. I know how brain work, and I've had one for a very, very long time. Do I know how to use it? No, but I try my best. But yeah, Jonathan really wants to win this game. To go 5-0 at an event is probably the ego boost. Not the ego boost, that's a rude thing to say. But it's probably a useful thing to have just before a key event. And we do get the knight takes check. And after this takes here, we will hopefully see queen b3 coming in. I'll be really, really excited. I am going to check the box to say we're going to follow this game. Is there a way I can actually just... I thought there was a way I could follow this game directly. Allow player following. And is it this? Follow. Okay, so when he makes when a move happens on their board, and I'll also follow Ivan as well. We'll keep an eye on the Welsh boards. Have a look at the performance rating. Ivan with the 2059. Whilst Jonathan's looking like Jonathan's looking at 2857. Blinking egg, mate. All right, chill out. It's not looking ideal on this board here. And then after this check, we do get this nice, like, the Bishop has found a nice little home. And again, Ved playing some 500 rating points his advance is really, really fair play for him to get to the point where he's nearly 30 moves in quite a complicated looking endgame. I'm really hoping we're going to see some exciting things happening on this board. Very, very nice to see. We have a look at board 3. This was Mike versus James. I should start doing a better job of reminding people who's playing what. I think for ages, D4 is a recommended move, and I think B4 is just as good as well, because after C takes and knight takes, no, not pawn takes, knight takes. We're at this point now, we've got a bit of pressure going on here, and the computer does recommend A5, and I mean, I like knight takes here. That would be my kind of move, but maybe is that a problem after bishop B6? Bishop B6. Oh, we just play C4. Just sat here quite pretty. I'd be happy playing this. But again, the computer still thinks it's rather equal. So yeah, be interested to see how Mike responds to that. We got a draw and a win for black on the board here. And oh, hang on, what's happening here? Sorry, have I ruined things by following a specific player? Follow Jonathan. So after... Oh, Jonathan misses the best move, I think, in this situation, which was just to bring the queen back. He comes over here to threaten this, but apparently taking here is a mistake, and there's only one move that kind of saves the day, which is sliding over here, and the idea is that we are now threatening this checkmate. And what does black have to do? If we play queen h4, do we have to play this move here? And then we take back. And that wins us a pawn. Very nice sequence. Will Jonathan find it? And he does find it. And now we've got the mate threat coming across here. Very, very scary. The only move that apparently works here is f5, h6, and g6 are all fine moves to play. But afterwards, we will just recapture this bishop, regardless of what happens. And it is just a much nicer situation to be in, and this pawn will likely be falling shortly afterwards. If we get this, so it has it. Let's just say we get h6, takes, knight c7. Are we taking an f8? Computer says maybe. After that and that, I mean, I'd just be happy here. I'm up 2 points, right? I'm up quite a nice amount of material. This board for Jacob hasn't changed on board 2. If we come over to board 3, we did get this nice pawn push, but again, not much is actually updated on this board. Here, we had this situation where this pawn was taken and traded off, and then the knight came back around. Apparently, the best move here, again, is castles for Chris and David, but it'd be very interesting to see if that's actually what happens. And if we go down to the bottom board here, we had a blunder. We've had a blunder. What's why? What's going on? If we take here... am I missing something? And then knight takes here? We just got this pressure coming along here. Very interesting setup going on over here. And here we did eventually get the pawn has been taken, and after this takes and this here, the pressure on this pawn is going to be very, very strong. It is going to start feeling very, very weak. These pawns are going to start marching up the board. Very, very, very fun game to watch. Very exciting. So yeah, that's well, everything's coming together very nicely. And again, this Queen H4 move here from Jonathan, very, very nice idea to eventually pick up this extra pawn. This threat is very serious over here. I can't imagine that anything, like, as long as he doesn't play something like this, we're fine. Right? I mean, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I've seen strange things happen. And as long as he doesn't play, like, literally, as long as he doesn't play this, we're winning, right? So I'm sure everything will be fine. What do we get? We do get the best move here, but B takes C3 is the only option we've got now. Obviously, we have to retake it to regain the material, and this pawn is going to be falling very, 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 very soon. Because I think after this, well, what are we doing? Like, let's say we do get... No, we are just picking up this rook. So we have to let Jonathan pick up the extra pawn to have a much stronger bishop pair in the long run. Everything's coming together real nice. Very nice, very good. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on this board here for a bit, because I think Jonathan's board is heating up quite a decent amount. I'm getting a video message. Time's running out to say on Snapchat Plus, never mind. I thought it was all exciting. And then we did get takes and trades off here, and now this pawn is falling very, very soon, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't think this game's going to be going on much longer. Let's see if we've got anything else going on. Any changes on any of the board. Again, this pawn is still coming up here. We do have James Ratcliffe taking a bit of time to think about it. It seems like quite a tough position, but the board is still very equal. Anything can happen still. Both players still with about an hour on their clock, so very, very exciting. This staff doesn't feel like the best idea at this point. We're trading off here. And that pawn is just going to fall off the board very quickly, and then we are going to be up 2 points. Ready to basically storm the battlefield. And then what has happened here since we changed back, we do get the correct move takes, and the only thing we can really do is look to escape here with our rook, because otherwise it is going to be a case that we are going to take this. And I think even if we get this, I think we still just take. And if they're... Wait, is that a move then here? So we've got to run back, I'm assuming. Queen e7. Very nice idea. We can't run here because otherwise we get mates. We have to trade off the queens. Just giving John just a much nicer position. Again, this board we did eventually get castles, which again was one of the top engine moves. The engine's now changed its mind as engine B doing engine things. So very unfortunate, very, very unfortunate. Let's just trade itself, change his mind every time. When I'm like, come on, I need help here, and the engine's like, I'm gonna make you look like an idiot on live, and you're gonna just have to deal with the consequences of that. And I'm like, great, that's very fun. So yeah, that's the only option. But then we do get bishop takes c5. It also does like rook ab1, putting pressure here first, but then I think after this, it's just gonna be a bit. I mean, maybe it doesn't work. There's a lot of different options on what can happen. I think we'll likely just see very standard, very, very safe there. And then we do have the bishop pair, which is just a slight advantage. I'm very surprised if we don't say bishop takes c5 from Jonathan coming soon. But again, I've been known to be wrong. It's a rare occasion, but it has happened before. Again, very rare, very rare. So yeah, be interesting to see what happens on this board. This board, I'm certain we're gonna see a trade here, surely. Even this apparently is better, but I mean, I think at this point you just play safe, right? We're still up +5, still a very interesting position to be in. The rest of the boards are kind of slowed down a little bit. Very exciting, very interested to see how this goes. If anyone has any predictions in chat, also make sure if you are watching on chess.com, you come over here and you can vote. I have voted for the extra Welsh chess chatter, Jonathan Blackburn, but either way, a win for Wales is good for us, right? This board is starting to look very, very good. I don't think there's going to be much time left in this game before the game ends. After this, we got the rook sliding over. That does make sense. But again, this board is still very, very equal. Neither king is massively happy and massively safe, but you know, we've got a bit of safety going on. Apparently the best move here is king g2, which I would never even consider in a million years. So Engine's just doing Engine things. Oh, excuse me, I don't know why I'm so yawny all of a sudden. I'm talking too much, that's clearly a problem. Well, I just saw my webcam struggle to refocus, so I bring this up a little bit. Some giant collection of Rubik's Cubes back there. Just a couple, just in case I get bored. Just got a few. You never know when you might need an extra Rubik's Cube. You know what I'm saying? What am I doing? What was I doing? Trying to sort out me chat. Oh, I actually opened Lee Chess. That's not what I need. I need chess.com. Chess.com and no, event. Jonathan. What have I missed? So we do get this move. And then after this comes down here, I'm just trying to figure out what the best idea is. The computer really likes here bishop takes on d4. Makes sense. The other option we got is bishop c4 check. I mean, taking the extra free pawn, I mean, is ideal. I don't really know why we had that. We didn't have, again, like something like knight c6, rook f7. All of these moves are decent moves, and we just kind of had something that just feels almost like a I'm gonna shove my piece at the board. But again, I might be wrong. There might have been some idea behind it that I'm not aware of. Might be trying to open up this file here for the bishop, for the queen, not the bishop, for the queen. But we'll see. We'll see. Jonathan will surely react soon. Likely, I'm assuming we'll be seeing this bishop take it, and then just a mountain pressure on the king side here. A lot of things you can be doing, and then it's just, yeah, it's going to start getting very uncomfortable, I think. Oh, we have a follow. We have a follow. Ah, I put the alert box in the wrong place. I am terribly sorry, but thank you very much. Who was that? Dalek V01. Welcome to Welsh Chess Chat. Thanks for tuning in. If you like hearing my boring commentary, if you don't know who I am, my name is Luke. I'm also known as Lightbringer online, and I'm part of the Welsh Chess Chat. Nowhere near a master or any good at chess compared to the guys I'm commentating right now, but just a big fan of the game, and it's just very nice to talk about it for you guys. Jonathan Blackburn, whose game we are currently talking about the most, is a current and fellow Welsh Chess Chatter, and actually the OG Welsh Chess Chatter. Current FM second seed. JV's your coach. Amazing, great. That makes my life a lot easier to explain who he is. So we are obviously rooting for him. We really want him to do well. A little bit wants him to not win so we can laugh at him, but we're not going to do that. He's been playing some stellar chess this weekend, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him on Thursday and Friday next week. When he comes down for the Welsh Championships, and we get to have a catch up and see what's going on and talk chess and talk all sorts of exciting things. But we're going to go over to a couple of the other games now. So after this move here, we did have rook coming over to the semi-open file on d1, and we're starting to bulldoze down and stare at this king over here. We are getting ready. Probably ideas like e5 are coming to mind for white. Just try and crack open this position a little bit more and give this rook something kind to fight against, but not much is happening just yet. And we did get the trade of pieces over here, and we are likely going to see this pawn on d6 falling, passing this pawn up the board. It's going to be a very, very nice time now for white just to kind of cinch this victory in. White has played a stellar game of chess with a 98.9% accuracy. Practically perfect chess. Just a couple of slips coming from our from the opponent. But again, 500 points rating difference. Very impressive and really, really well played. So yeah, we should be very, very happy with that performance. Yeah, if you are just tuning in for the first time, please feel free to shout things at me, come up with ideas, shout things, say I'm wrong, say I'm right, say I should do more commentating, say I should do less commentating. Anything you want to hear, just let me know, because I'm trying to figure out how this stuff works. This is my first time I've commentated anything that isn't blitz or rapid, so it's very exciting for me, very exciting times, and we are hitting a peak. Nice 5 viewers, very exciting. I'm just gonna have a sip of my water if that's all right. Yeah, I had a coaching session from Jonathan once as well. Very good coach, very, very, very knowledgeable of the game, obviously. And yeah, we do see this pawn forward on this board here. We're likely just going to see the knight just jumping back to where it was. Actually, the computer's like knight b7 is a better idea to maybe start coming around this direction. It's very interesting to see where we're going to end up with this. This move seems to me like a no-brainer. I'd be thinking, oh, I'll take with the bishop, add pressure here, and then when the bishop inevitably has to move somewhere, and the computer thinks rook g6 is obviously the only place I can go. But I would then be just taking this pawn here on f5, and then, like, what do we do? Actually, the computer thinks the only thing we can do is... We can't go here. We just die. So we have to come here. So yeah, very, very interesting to see how this is going to go. Jonathan says I made a move. I am calling Jonathan this tournament the thinker, because he do be thinking a lot. Which, of course, is fine. You're meant to think. It's classical chess, right? At the end of the day. So, yeah, it'd be very interesting. We did get bishop knight b7 on Jacob's board. So, very exciting. This game does seem to be wrapping up quite quickly. We still have a very even game between Mike and James. What we have is b4, d4, c takes d, c takes d. And now... We were talking about this earlier, but what we've done is alleviate some of the pressure on the queen side here. There was a massive pawn storm coming to us, and we now just have these two isolated queen pawns. And these 2 pawns here that are frozen. Neither pawn is willing to push. We might even see something like a3 in a bit, just to kind of solidify that. Actually, a3 is one of the top engine moves, so we might actually end up seeing that. It keeps the game quite even. But the computer is like, I'll just play knight e4, trade this off, and just be happy. On board, I can't remember what board this is. It's now board 4 for me, but it is board 6. At the event, we did, after we slid the rook over, we did have this pawn push, trying to again alleviate some pressure. Just give that king just something to be a little bit nervous about. We don't have, obviously, there'll have to be something to stop this from taking with discovery and then coming down here. So this pawn will either have to push to f4, or the king will have to slide up to g2. And just take that way. So it'd be very interesting to see what happens. Even f2 is a decent idea. So yeah, I'm excited to see how David reacts to this situation. It'd be very, very, very interesting. And then we're going to Harley and Jamie, and we have such a solid kind of game. And we traded off this knight here and pushing it back, just trying to gain a little bit of space. But again, I probably wouldn't trade this knight off just yet. I feel like my bishop's got a lot more potential in this position, and maybe a move like castling would have just been a bit more ideal. But the computer thinks we should have played. The computer really likes b4, and I kind of agree with b4. b4 is actually a really nice way just to kind of kick the knight out of the knight out of the position. A computer just wants the knight takes g4. Which is a very interesting decision. Because I would just be taken here. But, hey, tis what tis, right? And then after all this, we haven't got much of a change. We now are seeing some activity. Board 2, going back to James and Bed. We got a very, very nice, just getting the king active on the board. Starting to make our way over. Forcing these extra pieces now are coming off the board very, very quickly. I think this game's going to be over very soon on board 2. I actually think the game on board 1 will not be lasting much longer. The pressure that's going to be exerted on this rook here and onto this square here, only currently protected by the king, is going to be phenomenal once he does take back. And even if he takes back with a different piece, I just think it's still such a tricky position for him to take back. I think the thing that might be if he takes back with a pawn, it probably is going to lose. Yeah, it does look like it does lose a bit of advantage. Just because, again, the pressure he can exert now, because we can't run away, because we do just get... I mean, actually, bishop c4 apparently is really... But, I mean, I would be looking for something like this, right? Like, again, yeah, the engine drops a little bit, but not massively. Even then, we then do have to back up. Oh, and then, yeah, we come out with this pawn. So, I think it's going to be a very interesting position. I don't think that game is going to last much longer. The knight jumping back over here, I understand the principle. We want to reroute over here, apply a bit more pressure on this pawn. But it'd be very interesting to see how this actually ends up unfolding, if this is the correct route of action. I don't know if there's something that... Apparently Queen e7, applying pressure here, is probably going to keep the knight at bay for a little bit as well. So it'd be very interesting to see what's going on. And we're also starting to apply some pressure on this open file over here. Taking a breather, because that was a lot of talking I've just said. And you guys, I'm really sorry, I'm probably sick of hearing my voice. Definitely sick of hearing my voice. But that's alright, we're still going, we're still pushing on. Have we had any changes on any boards? We do on this board here. The right move here was Queen d8, and we unfortunately just route our knight back to the square here. Again, I can understand the idea. We're trying to find a better place for our knight. Our knight isn't exactly having much of an impact putting pressure on a pawn that's so well protected. But it looks like after this, knight b3 is now really possible, and the pressure that we're going to be putting on this pawn is going to become maybe a bit of a problem for black in the long run. This game's looking very much like a draw for, from my perspective. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. After this, we did get f4, which again at the time was a top computer move, but Stockfish did Stockfish things and changed its mind. I really like this idea. The idea then most likely just to keep pushing up this board here. f5 and e5 both pushes that spring to mind. I definitely think e5 is a good idea because putting pressure on this pawn that's currently pinned does help and just makes everything a lot more exciting. But hey, that's just me. I just follow the Hikaru rule of PP on the PP, put pressure on the pinned piece, right? And you guys should definitely be doing the same thing. What else have we got going on here? Let me just check a couple things. Have I broken something? No, I haven't. Very, very excited. I really look forward to seeing how Jonathan responds to this. Again, the computer's still really sure. Just well, the computer changes my... It now thinks this first, and then afterwards... Take. But, does it actually take? Yeah, and then take. But we'll see. We'll see actually how it goes. Again, a long, long pause. Maybe he's walked away for a minute. Maybe he's popped to the loo. We do get this exciting move here, but we just leave it and we let these pawns lock up just because we know in the long run we are going to be able to just get much stronger advantage. And I do think we probably are going to see a move like this, and these two pawns are going to fly up the board protected by the king over here, who's much more active, and this is going to be the end of the game, surely. These two pawns are just going to be absolutely unstoppable. Really, really hard to contest, especially if the king gets opposition. It's just going to be very, very exciting and very, very interesting to see. We come over to this board here, and after the knight jumps over, I mean, the computer thinks trade off the queens, or does it think knight d1? It actually thinks that the knight recaptures the queen. With queen just running over and knight takes b2, and we just get a bit. And then f5. Allow an en passant, which as we all know is a forced move. And then now we do just have a couple problems that we have to deal with, and this file is just completely dominated by the black rook. Ooh, Jonathan takes back with the pawn. Again, it's still winning On JB's pawns, in those lines you were looking at, there's an interesting idea. I guess it's bishop takes g7, followed by an option rook d8. Bishop takes g7. Yeah, I guess that wouldn't be a bad... It's only, I guess, if we can get this. We're looking at after the pawn is traded off. I think, yeah, that's probably quite a nice idea. And then we come sliding over here. And then we do look to pin there. I think the only problem is we were probably likely going to see this knight rotating very soon off the board. But I do think it's a very interesting idea and a very good thing to be looking at is that there is this problem with the rook staring up this file. The queen also has an extra onto the square, and the queen is stood in front of the king, and there's not many places to go. Apparently the best move here is knight d7. Makes sense. Again, I think Jonathan... So say after rook g6 now, and bishop c4 check, then bishop takes g7. So let me see. So we get... So after rook g6. Sorry. So we are... rook g6. Oh yeah, no, he has to end up taking the pawn, but I'm thinking you talk about here now. I think the problem, but obviously we then. I still actually this is a very nice idea. This is actually quite a scarily strong position, and then I mean, oh yeah, I have rook g8 mate then. But there's so many different ideas here. No, that's actually quite a nice line. I'd have to look at that a bit closer, I think. It's definitely something we could look at, and if we get... I don't think we'll be able to catch Jonathan for an after-game interview today. He's probably going to be knackered. But, I mean, in another... when we catch up, it might be worth... We are looking to do another Welsh chess chat afterwards. So that would be good. That would be very good to see if... he'd be willing to talk about that, because that's quite an interesting line. I have got that noted down now, so I've taken a screenshot. We'll definitely look into that in a bit more detail. This game's surely over, I think, on board 2 between Jacob and Bed, just because I can't take here, down 3 pawns, and these 2 pawns will march up the board, and there is nothing that black can unfortunately stop them. We'll trade off a couple pieces here. Again, this is a very even board. This is looking quite drawish. I'm wondering how much longer this game is going to last. It'd be interesting to see if anything major swings the position. Yeah, very exciting. Very exciting games we've had so far today. I've very much been enjoying looking at them. Again, at the moment, Jonathan is 4 for nothing. So he's absolutely smashing the competition away, and it looks like he's in a very comfortable position already again for playing his favorite Queen's Gambit. Again, it's that kind of fianchetto setup, which he's been playing a lot recently. Just need to grab this so I can see the chat a bit better. So yeah, very exciting. Very, very exciting. I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this tournament ends up. After this, we do get just the pawn. The knight recaptures here, but then, I mean, I think at this point we're just, yeah, game's over. We're just going to retake. And then how are we stopping these pawns? How are we stopping these 2 pawns here? Because the black king over here isn't going to be able to do anything, and these 2 pawns are just going to march up the board. Very unfortunate, very unlucky to black. Black has played a superb game, especially considering, again, the rating difference. But I mean, white's just played a phenomenal game of chess today, and we have to give credit where credit's due. Sometimes people do just play phenomenal chess. This is an interesting move, and it does look like there's only one move that saves the position, and that is Queen G2. Interesting. Let's see if that move is found by Mike. The 2 bottom boards haven't really moved much just now, so we'll probably at a point where, again, in the middle game, people do get a bit stagnant. Whoa, okay, hang on. So we are losing this pawn. We are like, yep, let's just get rid of this pawn. Is this the second pawn Ivan will be dropping, or is it the third? Because surely that's the pawn is just going to be recaptured here. And then, I mean, like, just look at this situation. There's so much pressure. The computer is really strict on, like, yeah, let's just sack here and then after king f1. And h6. What? Yeah, queen e7 feels like the best option for me as well. What are we doing? Yeah. It's just, yeah, very interesting. Sorry, I went silent for a bit. I went into my own brain, which is a dangerous idea on the best of days. But it does look like Jonathan's game is starting to lead to a massive advantage. We take, the pawn pushes. And we're letting the pawn go out, wouldn't we? Is there a problem with taking here? Does let this pawn through. Interesting. Very interesting. The king is going to just keep catching this pawn off. And then these two pawns, I mean, those two pawns are going to be unstoppable. They're monsters on the battlefield. On Jacob and Mike's board, we did get Queen G2 getting ready to bulldoze up the G file. That's completely open now. Be very interesting. The computer thinks the best move here is to play this. And after knight b3, it just looks like a nice, slightly nicer, more advantageous position for white. If we go to these two bottom boards, are still rather drawish. This board is a little bit in black's favor, but not massively. I mean, any one wrong move could just quickly change the tides very easily, very comfortably. So that'll be very interesting to see how that board kind of carries on. Jonathan's back into pondering mode. The thinker back out it. It's very interesting to see how he plays. Again, the best move here apparently is bishop just takes the free pawn. This is the third time I've summoned one of Jonathan's moves, and the rook takes g2 is the only chance I think it looks like black has. But after after king f1, I mean, like, as long as Jonathan doesn't play king h1. Because then you obviously have that. So as long as he doesn't do that. But I'm really hoping he doesn't. Kind of a little bit hopes he does. But then when I talk to him, I might get punched when I bring it up. So we gotta. I'm only joking. He wouldn't do that. That's a joke. Twitch, that's a joke. He's actually a very nice guy. What's going on this board here? We came down, and after that, I mean, where are these pawns going? These pawns aren't going nowhere. We're just going to come jump over here, are we? You can jump over here. Boom, boom, boom. Wait, hang on. That's an awful idea. It must be 94. And then after... just jump here. And then these pawns are just stagnant. They're nice. Very nice position. And a lot of these positions are very educational. Yeah, oh, we got it. He does sack, and then we do get king f1. The only move that keeps Jonathan in the winning position. All we need to do now is find a way out for him. And the computer is really looking forward to seeing h6. It's like h6 is the only good move that basically black has. Every other move. I mean, rook g6 exists as well as we come back, but I think Jonathan's just going to be I think Jonathan's probably smiling, happy, very much comfortable in the position he is sat in right now. I mean, I would be, what, 3 pawns up? 2 pawns up? 2 pawns up. My bishops are insane. My queen is eyeballing this threat here. Like, if we get something stupid like that, like the mate is just coming, right? What is the mate threat? Bishop there. Such a lovely mate pattern. A lovely mate pattern. And the problem is we still got this. We can't take here first because we still had this as an escape. That's just not going to happen. So yeah, be very interested to see how Ethan tries to wiggle out this one. Yeah, very, very interesting. Again, Jonathan's had such a stellar performance. So it'd be very, very, very excited to see how he plays. And we did end up getting Knight B3 here, putting a bit of pressure over here. Yeah, that was due. That was very much due. We have this come in. Very interested to see how that gets responded to. Yeah, I'm looking forward. This has been quite an exciting and eventful few games. And if we come over to board 2 over here, I mean, I don't think we're probably going to tune much back into this game. These 2 last pawns are going to be taken. And there's just not much. Yeah, black has resigned. These 2 final pawns are uncapturable. And then one of these 3 pawns is going to walk up the board, promote. Very nice try to the opponent. Again, playing on a much higher rating and played through quite a stellar game. Quite a very, very strong game. And a quite complicated position. So very, very impressive. I should be very happy with that performance so far. What's the best move? Is there even, like, there's the queen check here as well. Which I think is just bad, right? Maybe d3. Knight d7. What are we doing? Wait, one's knight d7. The other one just. Do a queen check. Come back. Oh, we've got the mate at 3 again. Just insane. Such an insane game to be watching right now. Very, very few. Again, h6 is probably the only move. If we get anything else, there's the forced checkmate at 3 over here that we've been looking at. Again, this is one of my new. I've never really seen this pattern before. I completely forgot it existed. Sorry, no, I have seen this pattern before. I haven't seen this pattern in ages. Is what I was trying to say. And I know what chess is. I know how to play chess. This board again for Chris and David is looking very, very drawn. I'm not sure who this gentleman. Oh, this is the gentleman we looked into who has a 60-63 rapid rating. Just no classical rate. So probably working really hard. How did White win? Did Black resign? Oh, sorry. It was draw. Draw. Oh my goodness. I was very concerned for a second. That did. I checked that back on the stream. That did say win. So they must have just placed the pieces in the wrong squares originally. 3 games left already. That is really quick going compared to the last time when we were watching this, and it was still had a lot of games going at about 6 o'clock, 6:30. On this game, we've just had the that's interesting. Yeah, knight c5 is definitely on its way to try and put some pressure on the queen here. So yeah, very interesting to see how this goes. But this is probably just trying to add an extra layer of protection, because after this takes, it's going to be quite difficult because of this pin. So very, very, very interesting move. The computer doesn't really like it, but I don't think it's massively negative just yet. We did get h6 from Ivan, but I don't think much is left to do in this situation. And queen e7 is coming, and queen e7, you have to respond to queen e7, because otherwise you are just going to start making a lot of angry threats. Trading off the queens right now, staying 2 pawns up, having 2 very active bishops. Like, oh, excuse me. What more would one want? What more does one want? So we'll come tuning in their game in a little bit. James's game is... James and Mike doesn't exactly feel like the most excellent move I've ever seen. And the reason why that is... because the bishop d5 check. Bishop d5 check, the king has to run away, and then we do get queen e4. I'm getting all sorts of pressure being exerted. Very nice. Very nice. Would be very interested to see if that move is found. Okay, we're going to have these 3 games going now. What has happened here? What was the best move here? Rook h1 would have been better. Very interesting. Very, very interesting position to be in. Again, these games are starting to kind of slow down and ramp down. We are in much more complicated end games. We do just have the rook sliding over to rook. But this is still apparently after this, where it's still that even. This is a massive advantage just given away, where we now are just 2 pieces down, 2 points down, sorry. And we're just give it up. I mean, for me, I'd be like, yeah, let's come this way. Actually, I mean, I probably looks, but I like A4, but A4 might not be as good. I don't think it's as bad, but similar kind of effect. So it'd be interesting to see how we respond to that. If we don't mind, I'm just gonna pop away for 2 very quick seconds, just so I'll put on the BRB screen real quick. Yes, I'll be back in just 2 seconds. We are back. We've only gone for a couple of minutes. I'm afraid I had to do what everyone has to do occasionally. Let's have a gander what's going on. Stream looks good, and let's see how it's going with the check. Jonathan plays rook a b1, putting pressure on this bishop here. I think the best move here for him was queen e7 to try and force a trade, but rook a b1 is just as comfortable. I actually don't. I think it's like a 0.5 difference in the position. So I think, yeah, I should still be very happy with this move. This board hasn't changed since the last move that we had. Very, very comfortable move. Again, I don't think this is actually as bad as the computer thinks it is. I think we're already in a position where things are already a little bit more difficult. So I think a move like this, just applying a bit of pressure, isn't the end of the world. But again, the computer isn't the biggest fan. We're not talking grandmasters here. We're talking, you know, your decent club players. So a move like this, just applying a bit of extra pressure here. Bishop d5 check is coming in, and then queen e4 is going to be applying lots of pressure in a lot of different places. So it is something we do need to be worrying about, but I don't think this is going to hinder us too much just yet. We've missed a victory. Oh, no, we haven't missed a victory. Sorry, I got really excited. I was like, whoa, we missed a victory. No, we watched that victory. But we have this game here where everything thrown away after this pawn push. Oh, my goodness. What have I hit way too many keyboard strokes. We had this. And then after this move here, just gave up way too much. I don't think this game is going to be lasting much longer because, I mean, this is in danger. Oh, we just need to run away. So very interesting to see how this goes. Very, very interesting. Very much looking forward to it. Have a look over at the top board here. The best moves here for Ivan apparently are Bishop d5 to try and remove the threat over here. And Bishop c6 is also good. The other option here apparently is Rook g5. To like equally apply pressure back here. But at the end of the day, Jonathan's 2 pawns up as 2 very, very, very active bishops. And we get an interesting move here from Ivan that wasn't really on my radar, which is coming over here. To threaten the rook, but apparently queen h3 just dissolves that threat because now you can't do anything, and we're going to be looking to come threaten over here. Queen f4 is also a move that they're suggesting. I'm not really sure why after queen f4 takes. Oh, we just retake with the king. So again, it's a pretty looking threat, but again, it doesn't really threaten anything because after this, it is just going to get quite messy. But yeah, queen h3 seems to be the move of choice. Do we get this? What happens if after we take here? We do just take on g2. Let's say we run away. And then we are forking this rook here as well. Very, very interesting to see how Jonathan reacts to this kind of threat. We do have a threat coming down on the board here from black. After this, we do have... Oof! Storming in, and the best move here is actually just to lose the queen and try and gain some compensation. No, because obviously we can't retake there. Very, very, very tough position to play. I don't know if there's much that could be done. The knight is, sorry, the bishop looks like it will be falling very shortly. Unfortunate situation. Jonathan plays the second best move. He does come over here and does start creating some threats because after bishop takes d1 and king takes d2, we have bishop c6, which is an option. So after takes and takes, and bishop a4, if I'm going to d5 and just start storming at the position, and we also some interesting ideas we got going on here. No sacrifices just yet. I'm looking forward to when Jonathan, in typical Jonathan fashion, will find a beautiful, nice, bright blue exclamation mark. Did so yesterday. It'd be nice to see him do something like that again. On this board here, Mike is just, after this push here and trades, we are still up a little bit. The position is still looking quite balanced, though. Best move now, apparently, is for king h8 in advance, getting ready for any checks. But yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how this game ends up playing out. We'll have to keep an eye on this one. After this, we do just run away. Rook takes d3 is inevitable. Queen a5 is coming first. Queen a5 check is good as well, but I think we're just going to probably see this fall. I don't think the game's going to last much longer after that, to be honest, which is a shame. Active games. Very nice find. What on earth happened here? We came down here, and why is this such a big mistake? This is actually like a really big mistake. Almost could even consider it to be a blunder, because we could take here. What happens after this? We have queen g4. Interesting. Okay, I guess the idea is we are now just getting our king. very, very active. We'll probably look to slide our rook over here as well at some point. There's not really much compensation, because if we just take here, we do just get bishop d5 check. And queen c8. No, not queen c8, sorry. But yeah, queen e6, and then we just win this back. Very, very exciting position to be in. Very interested to see if that is fine. We're probably going to see soon rook takes d3. Again, queen a5 is just as good, and knight takes a... Wait, knight takes a3 as well? I mean, yeah, take the free pawn. I mean, most people are going to probably take the free bishop, let's be honest. I don't think there's much deeper going on in this situation. So yeah, very, very exciting games going on in these boards. I think we're probably going to see Jonathan is going to be coming out ahead very, very soon. His position is just much more solid, and he's got a lot going on. Very, very exciting position for him to be in. Oh, okay, so Ivan does take. And then king takes g2. Queen e4 apparently is still actually an option. How intriguing. No, so this would be awful. But not awful, but I mean, let's be honest, you take the rook, right? So the rook does fall on Jamie versus Harley. Jamie does only have 15 minutes left on the clock, though, so maybe Harley will just try and run him down on time with a a -7 advantage. I don't know, man. I don't know. And what do we have next? D5, E4, and Queen E4 are the best moves available. Oh, Queen E5. Is Queen E5 bad? Queen E5 is also alright. Just offering the quick trade of Queen seems to be ideal. And knowing Jonathan, he might try and play it, but maybe he doesn't want to play into an end game. Maybe he's trying to find a better way of winning early on. D5 being that, looking like it's going to be that way. Just to try and march this pawn up the board a bit and just keep control of these key central squares that we seem to have taken control of. But like coming over here, and we've now got so much control over this entire area. It's insane that we've managed to claim all that. And we've even got control of this. So it's very, very, very powerful position Jonathan seems to have found himself in. And he keeps doing this. He just puts himself in really, really strong positions. Which is great. I mean, I've been really enjoying seeing him play in these really strong situations. So it's very educational if you're not familiar with these kinds of situations and how to play these positions. The knight reroutes over here, threatening to take here and here. Taking here, obviously winning a pawn. I probably it's not. It might be a pro. Oh, computer's now thinking there's a mate in 18. Oof. Let's see if we find a way for that. If we see a mate in 18 coming from a 1900, I mean these people aren't even rated, so it'd be very interesting to see how it goes. Again, we are starting to wind down. These games are coming slowly to an end, so it's going to be very, very exciting. I accidentally opened Copilot on my computer. That was not what I wanted to do. There's never been a time in my life where I'm like, you know what I really need, help me out? It's Copilot. Never in my life have I ever thought that, ever. But hey, and Jonathan plays. Okay, this bishop back move isn't a bad move at all. I'm not sure the idea why. If he's coming over here, are we looking to play bishop d5? So we don't want to play that, are we? Bishop b7. Interesting. Again, Jonathan's position is very, very strong right now. After c6. Oh. D5 apparently is a very, very good idea. And King f3 is also good, and f3 is also very good supporting. D5, I like d5. D5 is my kind of move. Getting really excited now because so much is starting to happen on the board, off the board, probably. People are starting to obviously walk around. It's getting near the end of the day. People are probably really tired. Ooh, wait, what happened here? I thought we were quite even just now. And then after this, takes. That works, but I mean, what happens after this? Alright, sorry, knight g6. Just, I mean, I guess you can just trade it and then come up this way, but... And then it looks scary. And Jonathan finds the best move in the situation. Of course he does. d5, coming in hot. Best move now for black is playing knight d7, apparently. Or bishop a4. Be interested to see how Jonathan does play this out, though. I don't think that was one of the best moves. Apparently, bishop b6 is absolutely monumental attack. Bishop b6. What's the next move? Bishop a3. This is the only way to slow him down. Just let him play up a rook. It would be very interesting if Jonathan finds rook b6. Even rook g1 apparently is really nice. Big fan of watching these games unfold. Be very interesting to see. We have a change in result. This game here, it ended in resignation. Knight came across. It's really anywhere to go. It was just getting very, very dangerous down here. Unfortunate, but very, very good games. Very good games from both. This game with Mike is looking like it's starting to wrap up slowly. I'm not really sure. We got this move here as a potential, maybe, but I don't really think there's much that could be done in this situation. Ivan's got to really think after. I mean, rook b7 is also, I think, just as good, and we're still applying that kind of pressure across the 7th rank. The fact he's actually been able to get his rook there feels like a really good thing. And actually, the computer's changing his mind a bit and thinks rook b7 might actually be better than rook b6. So, very, very exciting. I'd be interested to see how Ivan responds to this again. Apparently, the best move here is like queen c8. Even after queen c8. It's saying rook c7 is absolutely fine. Bishop d4, my goodness. We're now just bulldozing. The position is going to start crumbling around Ivan very quickly. And this position, again, this is very, very stressful. Rook e7 isn't a good idea, and knight g6 is probably just a little bit better. But after knight takes, we are going to have to play... This is queen takes... Oh, yeah, sorry, queen takes g6. This is a very, very scary position. I'm ready to come try and bomb down this way. Not sure how we are going to respond to the situation. And I think the best thing to do here is we just take. This is just like an attempt to stay alive as long as possible. Queen h5. Queen h4 is what I'd be looking to play. Then that would just up a piece, up 5 points. This game might be looking to end very soon. Interesting choice. Queen f5. Oh, we can't take here? Can't take here? Oh, we have a mate in one. Wait, do we? What am I missing? Oh, queen f8. Just absolutely destroys him. And Jonathan wins. Jonathan's gone 4-0 in this event. Fantastic job, fantastic gameplay. We still have one game left, so we will save for the end of this game, but this game does look to be wrapping up very soon. Jonathan coming in clean. What a clean game from Jonathan. And just absolutely took every chance he got. A couple of little missed moves maybe there. He could have played a little bit more accurately, but still played a stellar game of chess and showed everyone why he is the title he is and why he's going to be the second seed in the Welsh Championship. So very excited to see him play in the Welsh Championship now. Ivan still played a very, very good game. It looks like he let Jonathan just get a bit too comfortable in the position, and then Jonathan was able to just convert that small advantage he had very early on into a very, very, very strong win. If we go back, one of the earliest mistakes we see here is offering the trade of queens, which Jonathan was then able to get this kind of trade on the board. And whilst there was a missed opportunity here, allowing... Oh, I keep doing this. Allowing... where is it? I've lost it now. It was a queenie... It was quite early on. Allowing queen h4 here seems to have been the downfall, threatening this mate and then just making the position just a bit more uncomfy. And just from here, he was able to snowball. Again, taking here with the bishop might have been more favorable, but taking with the pawn here was still absolutely fine. He was able to very quickly take these 3 pawns, and very good to not fall into the trap of the rook sacrifice there. Not the rook sacrifice there, the rook takes the pawn there. Was able to actually quite quickly snowball into this position, picked up the rook, able then just to march up the board and claim everything. It's a very good, very impressive game. We still have one more game ongoing. It does look like white to be winning very, very soon. Just gonna see my my stream's crashed on my device. Well, it's not my internet, is it? Messaging him saying going 5-0 is insane. Like, you can't be doing that, just especially with a week before the championship to go, right? That's unfair. Yeah, he deserves a hardened pint probably. I'm very, very, very impressive, and he should be very happy. Yeah, good GGZ, man. Looking forward to seeing you play in the championship as well. Be very interested to see how this goes. This board is slowed down, and people are obviously taking the time they need to find the best move in this position. Apparently, the best move in this position is queen g5, just to put a bit of pressure on this knight and this rook. Very, very, very interested to see how this will be going. I'd be interested to see, yeah, how this goes. Again, we do have this kind of threat going on. I'd be interested to see what else gets pulled out of the ring. Can't believe that. That was a much quicker event than I was expecting it to be. Much quicker event than I expected it to be. We streamed for about over 4 hours yesterday, and Jonathan had a really, really, really long game. But it's nice to see. I think people obviously at the end of the day, they're just getting tired. People have played really good chess. This weekend. Really good chess. Been really exciting to watch, and especially some of the underdogs that have been coming in and upsetting some of the higher rated opponents. I mean, we're seeing these 1700 players now coming in and drawing with 1900s, beating 2000s. I mean, it's not easy work that they're doing, and they're doing it. So very, very, very impressive stuff going on. It should be interesting to see. Again, this board could still go on for an hour. So we could hit that 4-hour mark. I'm hoping we don't. Mainly because I'm very hungry. I'm looking forward to cooking myself something nice for dinner. And I also have a dish mountain about yay high that I have to deal with. Not ideal, but we move on, right? We move on. Just also got to sort out one quick thing on my laptop whilst I'm here. Is that up to date? Perfect. Make sure everything looks good and is working correctly. Yeah, well, thanks everyone who's tuned in so far. It's been a great event, an absolutely great event. Not sure how much longer this game is going to go on for. It'll be very interesting to see. It's the only game that's left standing. So, yeah, very, very, very exciting to see. Very interested to see, especially we still have half an hour on the clock. Mike has had a decent tournament so far. It's a win, 2 wins, 2 losses. Unfortunately, James, it's same place, 2 wins, 2 losses. So this is really fighting for a draw or a win here to have it above 50% success rate. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, interesting, very interesting. Again, the best move here apparently being queen g5, pressure here, because we do have to have something like knight g6. We can't run away this way because otherwise we get mated. We can't really run away anywhere else because otherwise we lose our... Apparently this is just mating too, actually, because we have queen d8. And bishop d5. Beautiful checkmate. Over here. Completely smothered in. But we do it! We get it! We get great queen g5. We've got so much pressure being placed on all of these pieces. And again, the best move over here is to place something like this. But after it takes... Apparently the best move here is to play queen a8. The computer, it's just like after bishop b4, what are we doing here? It is just going to be very uncomfortable. Knight e6 is apparently the move to play. The bishop d5, pinning the rook. This is all very exciting stuff. We do get a bit of extra support over here, but I think after it says queen f5 is the next best thing. No, queen f5, queen d7, and then we take over here. Very nice. Oof. What a nice little vibe we got. It's a nice little jam. Oof. It's good music. We've had good music today. I can't lie. I'm not trying to hype myself up because I picked the playlist. There's been good music today. There's been good music. Very happy. Very interested to see how this is played out now. Again, the computer still suggests queen h5. Queen f5 and queen h4 to target this pawn here. Another good move is bishop b7. That's a very nice move. Very nice tactic. But that is just obviously that then falls to this. Very interesting. Not sure how much longer this game is going to go on. The fact that we are still playing on is great. But I mean, the pressure Black is experiencing right now is probably very uncomfortable. Excuse me. Oh. I guess the idea is that if anything silly, like, it's not even really a move that can make this silly. I mean, I'm thinking like, it's going to be 7. Oh, no, obviously, yeah, you just do it, sorry. VC7, yeah, it's just take here. Oh, queen takes g7. And queen g8. Boom. Small. Boom. Yeah, that's very nice. Very nice. Interesting to see. Obviously, we still have a lot of time left in the game, but we have got a +9 advantage for white right now. So it'll be very interesting to see if we keep going after whatever the next move might be. Be really interesting. Obviously, we're threatening to come up this way and start launching some crazy attacks in the background. And actually, the computer says if we play that, it's actually mate in 16. And then mate in 6. Oh my goodness. Well, do we have the new move? We don't. Someone's still pondering. That's all good. We like it. Expecting it. Very exciting. This has been a very exciting game, very exciting tournament, and it's been very nice. There's a lot of strong chess players. Like, a lot of strong chess players, and it's been an absolute privilege to be able to talk over some of their games and try and make sense of some of the crazy moves that we've been seeing. If you have tuned in and watched any of the streams that we've done, I thank you dearly and appreciate your time, commitment to watching what is a very long chess tournament. And if you really like watching chess commentary, you should keep an eye out for the Welsh Chess Championships. That is happening next weekend, Easter weekend, from Friday to Sunday with live coverage of the Saturday games. It's gonna be a doozy. I can't lie, it is gonna be a doozy. Yeah, it's gonna be fun, and I'm playing, so you can even come check out my board on Lee Chess. My board. Mine. This guy's. I wouldn't recommend it. It's probably going to be blunders by move 9. That's was actually my goal, is to not blunder in the opening as white for this event, because that's all I seem to do in my last event, and just keep smashing as black, because I played a stupendous game as black. Well, I think it's a stupendous game, so it'll be very interesting. Very, very interesting games. We will say for the last game, I appreciate that it's Welsh chess chat, and we're not looking at Welsh players' games, but it feels like these guys are putting their time, putting the graft in. We've got to keep an eye on these guys, and it is good chess that we're seeing. We are seeing good moves, good lines getting calculated out. It's really helpful to have the engine. I'd be lost without it, to be honest, but it is really helpful. And again, it's been an absolute privilege to be able to stream on the Welsh chess chat Twitch. Really, really appreciate Jonathan letting me take the reins and try and talk to you guys about chess. Very, very, very interesting event that we've been able to watch. And again, there's a lot of ideas. There's knight b7, bishop b7, queen f5 is the crushing idea that. Well, Stockfish keeps changing his mind. Is it mate in 11 or whatever it was, or is it +9? No, it's mate in 17, mate in 15. Should you give me a second? Is it set? It's set. It's mate in 15. Insane. But hey, let's see. Have we had the move? We have not had the move just yet. So yes, very interesting. Very intrigued to see where this is going to end up going. We are spending a lot of time in this position. White probably is quite comfortable and quite, you know, probably knows that they're winning at this point. So it'd be very interesting to see if we do start to see a ramp up in attack with the move like Queen H5, threatening all sorts of crazy shenanigans, or if we are going to see something a bit more passionate. Queen H4 is another option, right, to try and challenge this pawn here on H7. They'll be currently getting attacked by both these pieces. So yeah, very, very interesting, very, very exciting. All in all, again, I want to just talk about this event in a little bit more detail. It's nice to see classical events. In general, I love watching classical chess. It's one of my favorite things my favorite time control to play is classical. I haven't had much of an opportunity to play it, but I've managed to play. I think I've got. I can't remember how many classical games I've got now. Is it 7 classical games? I think I've got under my belt now. Like rated classical games. So very, very much looking forward to playing more. I got 5 this weekend, so I'm gonna go from 7 to 13. No, that's not right. 7 to 12 classical games. I know math. People always think I'm a really good math person as well because I know how to play chess, which I think is ridiculous. I don't do maths very well. The same when I saw the Rubik's Cube. People are like, "You must be great at maths." I'm like, nope. I learned to solve a Rubik's Cube. So that's that. Sorry, just messaging Mr. Blackburn himself and a couple other people about his crazy success in this tournament. The fact that he came in and just was like, you know what, I'm just gonna win every game, and convincingly won 5 classical games of chess. He must be exhausted, and especially because he's now gonna work this week, and then come play another 7 classical games over the weekend. And yeah, it's going to be great to see. Will I be throwing pens at him whilst he's trying to focus? Probably. Will I be making little silly noises if I get anywhere near his board in the close section? 100%. And also, I am joking. I would never do that because I want him to do well in the Welsh Championship as well. Really cool to see if he could beat Jose. I mean, that would be insane if he could beat the #1 chess player in Wales. That'd be huge. That'd be absolutely huge. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how he does. This game is starting to... The clock is running down now for white, and we still haven't had much movement. If we go, let's have a quick look at some of the games that have obviously finished. Obviously, we have this amazing position at the end from Jonathan, where he did just, obviously, just managed to slide back over, and there's just nothing white can do here. Like, the position is absolutely crushing. Can't take here because we have this checkmate here, which is absolutely lovely. And eventually we are just going to snowball into the position over here and just bulldoze across this 7th rank. It's obscene. It's an obscene position, and Jonathan did a great job to get here and just take over the board. We also have this board here, Jacob versus Vet. I do feel very, very not bad. You know, this is the nature of chess and open tournaments. You enter an open section, but fair play to Vet. I was very, yeah, Ved's drawn with 2 1900s, being a 2000, and then obviously, yeah, just unfortunately got stuck against the 2200, and it just ended up being that this position was so tight, and we just see the important how many pieces on good squares in this position, where Black's pieces were just really, up till here, were just really stagnant. The white bishop just not able to really invade into the position just due to the nature of where the pawns were. And Black's bishop really struggling to find anywhere to make any decent impact. So, very, very, very good job from... And then this move here was just great, just picking up that extra pawn. And then after is able just to kind of walk around here and pick up the last remaining pawns. It's absolutely phenomenal, phenomenal moment. We do have a move, and this was one of the best engine moves here, just blocking this. Trying our best just to come over here. There is... I wonder what the best move is. The best move, apparently the best move is knight g6 and queen takes here. Why was it rook takes? We got oh, we got mate in 2 on the way, yeah, of course. So it'd be very interesting to see how we respond to that. So queen has to take. Queen has to take, or the knight has to come over here to protect. But even when the knight comes over to g6, it's just not very. So queen takes b7. So if we got queen takes b7 and this takes. It's just a nice position, isn't it? At the end of the day. Sorry, I thought I tapped off for a second. I was like, wait, has it just said someone's won? What am I missing? So yeah, knight b7. Just a lovely move here. Really, really making things quite difficult. Oh, excuse me. For the for Black, for James. So yeah, be very excited to see if anything updates, anything changes anytime soon. And then that'll be the end of the stream. As soon as this game ends, as soon as we get a result, as soon as someone has a green border or a red border, I'm very surprised if there's a draw here. But as soon as we see something happen, that's gonna be that's gonna be it. That's gonna be it. Now I'm not that as sad as that is, and as sad as it's going to be to say goodbye to you all, I'm really, really, really happy to have been able to spend this time. And I really hope you've enjoyed hanging out and talking chess with me, especially on the stupid things that I've got probably incredibly wrong, or maybe one of the good things I did get right. Some of the I did guess a couple things right. I did brain a little bit. But yeah, it'd be very, very interesting to see how this ends up going. Again, not many people are probably watching now. People are starting to tune off. End of the Sunday, right? Everyone kind of wants to go to bed. What on earth is this song? Not a big fan of that song. Let's try this one. Hang on 1 second. Sorry, my wife lost her keys. I was trying to help her find them. I think we just on diagonal tail. Yes, the only move we had here really was knight over here, but then we do have... What's the best move? Queen d5 apparently is the best move. But also taking the choice taken here is still a good idea. very excited to see how this game finishes off. Very, very coming close to an end. We must be very excited. Again, both these people being 2 and 4, so I think we're probably at a good point where we can actually look at the scoreboard right now and have a quick look at what's going on. So with Jonathan Blackburn with 5, with Jacob coming in 2nd place with 4, and then we have a billion people in joint 3rd. 1, 2, 3, 5 people in 3rd place with 2.5. So very, very interesting. And we have a top prize of 300, and then 150, and then 50, and £100 for the best performing female. Very, very exciting. Very, very good to see all these games kind of starting to wrap up. Very good. Again, congratulations to Mr. Blackburn. You're good, sir. You did good. We are impressed. Yeah. Gotta be said. Gotta be said. So, Queen D5, sorry, is the best move. And then, what's wrong with that? Queen F5, isn't it? Oh, then Knight D6. Ooh, there's some very exciting moves that are potentially going to be coming up. Probably not. We don't know what's going on. I'm so like intrigued about what must be going on at that board right now. Unless I've missed something and nothing's popping up on the screen. Hopefully very soon we'll see this game wrapping up. I'm not 100% sure. Not 100% sure indeed. Yeah, again, at this point, anything can happen. It's very interesting, but I'm assuming soon we'll see this game wrap up very, very comfortably, very, very nicely. Have we seen anything? Am I missing an update? I think I am. This is the last game. Wow. What we're going to do now is hopefully see Queen D5. But even Bishop takes is still... Bishop E4. Ah, I see. Interesting. That's why Queen D5 is the best option first. Queen D5 check. Because then this doesn't really matter as much. We have that, and then we can take. This is just absolutely uncomfortable. Just come in. Yeah. Unfortunate, unlucky. I'm sure what's happening is everyone's probably right now huddling around this chessboard, waiting to see what's going to happen. We have no moves registered from the live board just yet. Yeah, wow, it's just taking a bit of time. Taking a bit of time. I'm just gonna stretch my back real quick. Oh my goodness, been sat in this chair for so. Oh no, that's got to be a misinput, surely. What on earth just happened there? Okay, the computer freaked out for a second. I was like, there's no way we've blundered that at this point. Oh my goodness. Whew. That was stressful. I actually was really stressed for a split second there. I don't know why, because I mean, like, no one in their right mind, even I wouldn't make that move, and I've made dumb moves before. I've like let my queen get pinned by a bishop and be like, well, I guess I die. And like, I'm not talking about like just like in general. I'm talking about like in a classical over the board game. I've let my queen get pinned by a bishop and I had to lose a knight. Was not a fun game for me, but that's fine. That's absolutely a-okay. Sorry, I'm just getting the chat back up on my phone. My phone keeps dropping it. I don't know why. Perfection. I wonder how this is going to go. Again, rook f7, bishop takes. Takes. We got knight d6, which just applies so much pressure over here. Yeah, very excited. Very, very excited. I can't imagine this game going much longer. Okay, when I saw that coming through here, I was like, I could get taken in about 8 billion different ways. But the computer just freaked out. Very fortunately, the computer just freaked out. So thank goodness for that. I was very, 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 very stressed. But we still have a half an hour thinking time left for James. So it'll be very interesting to see how much that he actually decides to use up. Yeah, it's very, very interesting time. On brighter news, I managed to get my rapid rating back at 1500. That was a nightmare. Can't believe that didn't happen, but it didn't. I wonder what the best move is here. Okay, the best move according to the engine is rook f7, and anything else does seem to be a bit more uncomfortable with that. Yeah, queen d8. Oh yeah, now I can take here. So, I know the best move is here. And then here. And now we are just in a much happier endgame, aren't we? Because we're up a rook. So, honestly, I don't think this game's going to last much longer. I think, unless we see a major blunder from white anytime soon, which we almost did see, and I was very, very confused about what was happening. But it's just misinput from the computer. Yeah, I don't think we'll see anything major. Oh, my goodness. This tune is banging. Okay, you see what's going on with my hair here? My goodness, no matter what I do, if I do something with my hair, it just don't work. It don't listen to me. It do not listen to me one bit. Ow. That just whacked my hand on my monitor. Absolute nightmare. No updates over here. Internet is entertaining. Interesting. Well, I don't know what to say. We're going to have to... Oh! We're going to move. And we do get the rook blocks. We're not going to get something really bad. Is this complete... I would be looking for something like that. That's the best chance they got. Oh, they're getting it. With 13 minutes left on the clock for Mike, he's probably looking like he's going to have to start making slightly faster moves. He has been spending a lot of time resting on these moves. But it does look like the bishop takes knight is the best option. Even knight d8 is the good idea just to put pressure over here. So it's all good in the hood. Which is the important part. The important part is that we are doing all right. We are doing all right. Oh, excuse me, I had a very itchy nose for a second. I really hope we get a very cool if we do see something like 96 and 98. I got this in the wrong order, I just realized. But yeah, bishop takes over here apparently is the best option, and after takes, knight d6 is then very powerful. And it thinks queen takes f7. What? How's that? And then we just kind of trade into a better angle. This is the Stockfish thing, though, isn't it? Stockfish loves to trade off the queen at every given moment it possibly can. So maybe we will see that. We are likely to see that, I think. I'm not too sure. Not too sure at all right now what we're going to end up seeing. We have got a lot of time still left on the clocks. We do get knight d8, which again is one of the very strong moves. That was an option. I think it is looking like left, right, good knight. No, queen takes f7 apparently is the best move still. Queen takes f7 check. And then we just trade everything off. Yeah. I think it's a nice find from. It's a nice idea from Black to try and save what's left of this game. I do think we're gonna just be able to trade down into a winning end game very quickly. Takes. Sorry. Takes. We've also got this. Okay, no, actually that works as well. That's so well. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see that we have a mate right here. Oh my goodness. Terrifying. I was not paying attention enough. This is how I lose all my classical games. Because I'm like, oh my goodness, look, take it with the horse, rook take horse. And then I'm like, ah. He took it correctly, right? He took correctly. He took with the queen. Good. Yes. Do you just trade off the knight now and then just go into a winning endgame? Yeah, the bishop just take here, right? And then you just, yeah. But the apparently was, oh, sorry, rook g5 is apparently better because you can, yeah, there's no way you can stop us taking this pawn after this. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. I think we're probably going to see this game ending now. Because this pawn is now... This rook coming up to g5 is going to be an unstoppable threat. Well. What a great game. What a great game. I think we'll see the resignation coming through quite soon. Because here, and then we're coming across here. Just... These pawns are going to be very, very hard to stop for Black. So yes, I have a notification. Unmute your microphone. Don't tell me what to do. I need to unmute if I need to mute my microphone, I'll mute my microphone. Streamlabs trying to tell me how to do what I'm doing. No, I'm gonna mute my microphone if I want to mute my microphone. That's how we do things. But it's at it, and that's it. That's game. Mike wins 3 out of 5. I think that clinches in the 3rd place spot, actually, doesn't it? Yes! We have first place, we have Jonathan. 2nd place, we have Jacob. 3rd place, we have Mike. So, well done. 3 very distinct winners. That's always nice to hear. And I am going to be signing off now after such an incredible event. Thank you very much for letting me stream these 2 games. It's been a pleasure talking to everyone, and thank you for everyone who's interacted. If you've enjoyed the stream, please make sure you follow, keep an eye out. We will be streaming the Welsh Championship as well when this comes up. it's been a pleasure. Been an absolute pleasure, and I appreciate all your time. I've been Luke, also known as Lightbringer, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.